recording. All right. So, basics of 3D animation na tayo, no? So, Module 9 and Module 10, it's all about the basics of 3D animation. Module 9 is just yung, of course, yung standard basics of 3D animation natin. And Module 10 is going to be about basic rigging. Alam ko, yung mga iba dito, may magka-characters nga, like I said, ano? Kakailanganin nyo yun. But, yung as in full character rigging, hindi ko ituturo 'yan, no. Kasi that's above na 'yan sa basic rigging na hindi namin kailangan i-discuss, no. Kayong may choice na nag-character rigging, so you're gonna need to apply what you have learned dito sa basic rigging and how to do said character rigging, no. But don't worry kung kailangan niyo kung need you ng questions, feel free to ask, ano. Or like I said, kung tinatamad kayong gumawa ng sarili niyong rig for your characters, diretso na sa mixa mo, no? Doon niyo na siya i-rig, which is hinayaan ko naman kayo. So, Module 9 muna ang i-cover natin ngayon, which is like I said, basics of 3D animation, no? So, ito na yung mahirap natin sa 3D animation, no? So, diretso na tayo dito. Huwag na natin discuss yan. Diretso na tayo dito sa 3D animation. So, 3D animation, when we're going to compare it to 2D animation, they're not actually all that different, no? They use the same exact concepts, which is yung keyframe animation, no? Ang difference lang naman is 2D animation where we are really exactly forced to work frame by frame, no, to get a very smooth na animation, right? No, kunwari if you want an eyes to be animated, literally either frame by frame mo gagawin 'yon para sobrang smooth ng pag-close ng mata, or you work frame after tawag dito, 2 frames, no? You either work 2 frames altogether before you actually start saving your animation, no? So, ang difference naman sa 3D animation, hindi natin kailangan ng gano'n, not unless you really need to, no? Sa 3D animation, it's actually pretty self-automated naman na. Like for example, if you want to animate from frame 0, tapos yung cube mo, ipapamove mo lang siya to the right side at around frame 20, gano'n lang siya, no? Lagay ka lang ng keyframe animation dun sa sa frame 0, and then lagay ka naman dun sa frame 20. And then once you start playing the animation, smooth lang naman siya. Hindi na niya kailangan ng mga in-between frames. Not unless, like I said, you really want to, no? Now, also aside from that, no, sa 2D animation, kita natin lahat sa buong scene natin, no, sa buong software natin na lahat ng objects meron siyang animation data nakikita natin. Nakikita natin yung keyframes na nakalagay dun sa scene all throughout kahit wala tayong nakaselect, no? So, gano'n ang experience sa Adobe Flash, no? Ano ba yung di ko lang alam kung ano yung pinapagamit na sa inyo, but nung sa time namin sa Adobe Flash, gano'n siya, no? Kita namin lahat ng mga objects sa scene namin dun sa timeline namin. Nandun lahat present yung mga yung keyframes namin without selecting any sort of object. Now sa 3D, dito naman siya iba, no? Kasi if you want to see animation data of a single object, you're gonna have to select that said object, no? Hindi mo basta makikita yung animation data ng mga objects without selecting it. So if you want to see all of them all together, select mo lahat ng mga objects mo na may animation data para makita mo siya sa timeline. And of course, another obvious one din na difference between 2D animation and 3D animation. Sa 2D animation, we can see the previous frame, no? Parang siya, parang naka-lower lang yung opacity, but we can actually see it, no? Sa 3D animation, walang ganon, no? Walang ganon. So, yun ang extra difficult factor lang doon. But it doesn't really make much of a difference naman, kasi both are two different different mediums na sila. So meron silang individual strengths talaga, no? And personally, kapag i-compare mo 2D animation and 3D animation, definitely 3D animation is the easiest because like I said, most of the time it's pretty much self-automated, no? There's really not much of brain power needed para lang makapag-animate ka ng isang 3D object, no? So, yan, balik tayo dito. Keyframing, So, alam naman natin ang keyframing natin, there are 2 kinds. No, we have auto key and then we have our set key, no? Kahit sa 2D animation yan, kahit sa Anong software yan na nagbibigay ng 2D animation? Meron tayong auto key and then meron tayong set key. Hindi lang natin na nanonotice yun, no? So, most likely, yung mga terms na to, naiiba siya sa software. Depende, naiiba yung terminology niya. But they're all functioning the same way, no? So, auto key, as the name suggests, automatic siya naglalagay ng keyframe if the software detected any sort of transformation or change to the object, no? That's auto key. As it's actually super useful. Now, yung set key naman, yun na yun. And yun na yung analog or yung traditional way of adding our keyframe. So, what's going to happen is we do our transformation to our object and then you're gonna use set key para maglagay na siya ng keyframe to save that animation data or to save that quote-unquote transformation. No? So, enough of me explaining, siguro mas mabuting i-demonstrate ko na lang. So, unahin ko na muna 3ds Max, which is our usual norm naman. No, actually, it's actually not our usual norm. So, rarely tayo nag-online class, no? So, let's start with a basic sphere na lang muna, no? Let's start with a basic sphere. And then, siguro, ang gagawin ko na dito, I'm going to do a little bit of setup na muna dito, no? So, if you can notice here, kahit sa Blender din to, no? Kahit sa Blender, if you're gonna notice here dito sa sphere, yung origin point niya or yung pivot point niya nandito sa gitna. But what we want here, siguro dito, gusto ko, ang gagawin ko sa ball na to, I'm going to make it jump. No? I'm going to make it jump. So, ang natural na ko dito, para mapadali yung pag-animate ko dito. Kasi like I said guys, no, yung natin dito, yung pinaka-object natin, nagre-rely siya dito sa pivot point natin or sa origin point natin. So, basically, if I'm going to be fully thorough na dito kung ano ba purpose ng pivot point or ng origin point natin kapag Blender, is dito talaga na bibigay lahat ng data niya. Nandito yung location, nandito yung rotation, pati yung scale. Dito siya nakasalalay kung saan nakalagay siya, no? So currently, if I zero this out, no, yung center point natin or yung pivot point lang mismo yung nandun sa 0, 0, 0 na coordinates, no? So, if I want to change this to, let's say, nandito siya sa bottom part, no? If I want to change that, select natin tong object, and then dito sa properties panel natin, click natin tong third icon, itong hierarchy. And then, select natin, affect pivot only. Now, what's gonna happen here, nabago yung gizmo natin dito, no? Nabago yung gizmo natin, and kapag minove ko na siya, hindi gumagalaw yung object, pero yung origin point or yung pivot point yung gumagalaw. So, pretty much common sense na to. Ilalagay lang natin siya dito sa end na end the vertex natin dito. But since I want to be precise dito, i-turn on ko rin itong snap, no? So, press ko S and make sure ko lang itong sa S ko dito, yung sa snap ko pala, naka-single out lang itong vertex ko. So, that's good. So, if you don't know how to do that, right-click lang tayo dyan and then yon vertex. So, select nyo lang yung vertex and then you're good. And then, balik na ako dito. Move ko lang siya sa Z-axis and then tatapat ko lang siya dito sa vertex na yon. And then, it's all good. Now, of course, nakasettle na yan. Kailangan na natin i-save yan. Now, para i-disable na natin itong affect pivot only, select lang natin to. Select lang ulit natin yon and then there we go. Andun na yung pivot point natin or yung origin point natin. I'll get through this sa Blender, sandali lang, no? So, as you can already see here, no, nung napalitan ko yung pivot point, kanina naka 0, 0 to. Ngayon, naging negative 17.3.328 na siya, no? So, nabago yung location niya sa Z-axis. So, see what happens here kapag zinero out ko naman ulit to. Yun. It's back. Yung origin point or yung pivot point niya, balik siya dun sa 0, 0, 0. And as you can see here, parang nakapatong na siya dito sa grid natin, which is what I want for now, no? So, yun. There we go. Now, next, sa Blender. Actually, sa Blender, napakadali. Ganun lang siya kadali din, no? Madali lang siya. So, delete lang ulit natin to. Delete lang natin tong cube. And then, let's add a sphere din, no? Let's add a U sphere. Shift A, UV sphere. And then, just like dun sa 3ds Max natin, ganun din siya, no? Yung origin point natin, ang alam natin sa Blender, which is this itong orange dot 'yon. Yan yung origin point natin or yung quote-unquote pivot point natin. Now to change this, select natin yung object, or actually kahit di natin select yung object kasi may turn on muna tayo, which is this one. Dito sa top right corner, meron tayong options, and then dito nakalagay transform, and then nakalagay dito may affect only, and then we have 3 choices. We have origins, locations, and parents. Select lang natin tong origins. Let's enable that. And then, select na natin tong itong sphere natin. Now, as you can see here, nagkaroon tayo ng gizmo. Wala naman tayong active na movement tool, di ba? So, what's happening here, if I try to move this one by using G, hindi gumagalaw yung object, but nakikita nyo gumagalaw yung origin point natin or yung orange dot natin. So, what we're going to do here is basically the exact same dun sa 3ds Max, no? So, let's turn on our snap din, itong magnet tool na to, and then change natin siya to vertex. Okay. Now, para hindi rin tayo mahirapan, para makita natin yung actual na wireframe natin, punta tayo sa object visibility, dito sa object properties, and then punta tayo sa dito sa viewport display. And then, dito sa show, meron tayong makikita wireframe, turn on natin yan para makita natin yung geometry natin. And then, back to dito, press natin G, and then lock natin siya sa Z-axis para diretso bababa lang siya. Ayan. And then, tatapap lang natin siya doon sa babang vertex na yon. And then, we're all good. Balik na lang tayo dito sa options, and then, disable na lang natin itong origins. And then there we go. If I try to use the move tool, nandun na siya, no? Nandun na yung origin point natin. And then, kagaya sa 3ds Max, if I view my item, ayan, no? Nabago yung niya, yung z coordinates niya, naging -1. So if I use 0 on this one, ayun, nakapatong din siya dun sa 0, 0, 0, no? So there we go. Yun ang importance ng pivot point and ng origin point sa 3ds Max and sa Blender. So, you're gonna have to keep in mind yung yung pivot point nyo and yung mga origin points nyo sa mga object nyo before you actually start animating. You're gonna have to make sure na tama ba tong origin point or pivot point na ginagamit ng object ko. Kasi, yun nga, dito nakasalalay kung paano magiging itsura ng animation mo. So, you're gonna have to check those first. Okay? So, there we go. That's how you change our pivot point and our origin point sa 3ds Max and Blender. Any questions, guys? Any questions? Any questions, guys? I'm not gonna be moving forward until someone says no questions. No questions? Guys, no questions? May questions ba? None so far. Okay. So, yun lang no kailangan ko, no? So, move on na tayo sa next one, no? Which is the actual animation part. Okay? So, like I said, no? Sa animation natin, it's just normal standard keyframe animation, and we'll be utilizing yung auto key and set key natin. Now, of course, let's start with the most easiest one, which is auto key, no? Now, dito lang tayo magkakaroon ng konting difference between sa 3ds Max and sa Blender. Ito yung pinaka niya. Sa Blender, it specializes more on set key, while sa 3ds Max, auto key naman, no? So they're complete polar opposites, no? So sa 3ds Max, definitely I would highly recommend always use auto key kasi napakalakas ng function ng auto key sa 3ds Max. While sa Blender, mas malakas naman yung yung functionality ng set key niya dahil you can isolate animation data without adding unnecessary information sa animation nyo. Like for example, no? If you can notice here dito sa object properties natin, no? We can animate yung mga various locations natin dito. And yung special functionality ni Blender dito na wala si 3ds Max, which is like, let's say, gusto ko lang pagalawin tong z-axis ko. But if I use the standard set key, madadamay din tong X and Y kahit hindi naman siya nagamit, no? Madadagdag siya sa animation data, which is dagdag trabaho lang 'yon, no? what we want sa mga animation natin, dapat malinis lahat yung data natin, hindi yung masyadong maraming unnecessary data. So, what's happening here, kapag set key, we can easily just simply use tong z-axis or kung ano man yung gagamitin nyo dito for the animation. No? Babalikan natin yan mamaya. Unahin na muna natin si auto key. No? I'm going to explain why set key dito sa Blender is actually super, super good. No? So, balik tayo dito. Control Z, Control Z. Okay. So, auto key. No? Auto key tayo. As the name suggests, like I said, automatic siya, no? So if it detects any sort of change, it's going to add a keyframe to it. Now, paano natin i-enable yon? Dito tayo sa timeline natin. Now, kapag wala kayong timeline, guys, let's say nakaano kayo. Let's say, ganyan lang yung ano nyo. Magdagdag lang tayo ng panibagong viewport, no? So, right-click tayo in between sa mga windows natin dito until you see tong double-sided arrow na to. Right-click, and then siguro lagay lang tayo ng horizontal split para dito siya sa baba. And then, lagay lang natin dito. Left-click, and then dito na yon. Meron na tayong second na viewport. Now, dito sa second viewport natin, change lang natin yung editor type to timeline. And then, there we go. Meron na tayong timeline. Now, auto key. To enable auto key, ito lang siya, no? Ito lang yan. Auto keying, as you can see here, itong parang record button natin dito, no? So, fit siya talaga sa name ng auto key, no? Fit yung icon sa name ng function. So, auto key, click lang natin yan. And pag nakita nyo na itong blue na to, that means auto key is enabled. So, which is good. So, what we can do, we can start making our change. And then, as you can see here, nung nag-press ako ng G, and then minove ko lang sa Z-axis, dito sa timeline ko, nagkaroon na ako ng keyframe, no? And then let's say if I move to frame 40, let's say I move it pababa ulit, ayun, no? Nagkaroon ulit siya ng keyframe, no? So there we go. That's how auto key works. Now, while this one is, it's pretty self-explanatory nga, like I said, it's actually not that good, no? Hindi ko highly recommend na gamitin niyo tong auto key because like I said, much better gamitin si Blender with set key, no? Because as you can already see right here, no? Notice here, kapag may nakita na kayong ganito dito, may nakita na kayo dito, may mga naka-highlight na dilaw, that means nagkaroon na siya ng keyframe, no? Nagkaroon na siya ng animation data. And as you can see here, each individual parameter nito, itong location X, Y, Z, rotation X, Y, Z, and then scale X, Y, Z, na-animate siya. Pero alam naman natin, ginalaw ko lang naman siya sa Z-axis, di ba? So there's so much unnecessary data. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 unused animation data na hindi naman kailangan natin. And kapag tinignan natin siya dito sa timeline, open natin tong object transform. Kapag di nyo makita to, meron kayong dito, no? Meron kayong option dito. Merong siyang arrow dito. Ayan, dito. May makikita kayong arrow dito. Click nyo lang yan. And then makikita nyo na tong dope sheet nyo dito. And then if we open up object transforms, ayan, no? Andito yung mga animation data natin. Di ba? So there's so much unused data. Now, babalikan natin yan mamaya kasi dito sa Blender, dito rin maganda siya. Kasi pwede natin tanggalin to. Pero mamaya na natin gagawin yan, no? So, let's leave it at that for now. Kasi meron pa tayong, like I said, much better way to do this, which is set key nga. Okay? So, that is auto key in Blender. Now, dito naman sa 3ds Max, dito naman maganda sa 3ds Max, no? So, dito sa 3ds Max, we have yung timeline natin dito, which is already active from the start, no? Never siyang mawawala. So, there we go. This is our timeline. Now, to enable auto key, it's actually pretty obvious na already. Kung hindi nyo pa nakikita, ito na siya, auto key, no? So, toggle auto key mode or press natin. And ako, actually, hindi ko na tinatandaan itong hotkey na to kasi napaka-obvious na siyang tingnan, ano? Hindi na siya necessary tandaan yung hotkey. So, turn on lang natin tong auto key. And then, pag may nakita na kayong red na accents or red na highlights dito sa 3ds Max natin, that means it's animation time na. It's ready to animate things na. Same concept na rin yan sa mga other parameters dito which we will discuss later, no? Sa mga modifier animation, tsaka sa mga pag-animate ng mga textures, no? So, babalikan ulit natin yan. Dito muna tayo sa mismong object natin. Now, As you can see here, ito na siya, no? Pwede tayong mag-animate. So anything that we do, pwede tayong magkaroon ng animation. But as you can see here, no? Nung ginalaw ko na tong sa frame 0 ko, walang nangyari. Wala siyang nilagay na keyframe, no? So, balikan natin yan, no? Bakit walang ganon? So, dahil wala siyang ganon, kasi ang ginagawa ng auto key kay 3ds Max, let's say, punta tayo sa frame 40, and then gawin ulit natin yon, no? Gawin ulit natin yon. Ayan. So, minove ko lang siya sa frame 40, but as you can see here, no? Aside from having a keyframe sa frame 40 natin, and nagkaroon din tayo sa frame 0 natin, no? As you can see here, no? Nagkaroon tayo ng parang point of previous area niya, no? Yung previous location niya dito sa frame 0. So, alam natin sa frame 0, naka 000 yung niya, yung original na location niya, 'di ba? And then minove lang natin siya papataas sa frame 40. So, ang nangyayari dito, auto key, when it comes to auto key sa 3ds Max, naglalagay din siya ng ng keyframe kung saan siya huling nanggaling, no? So, nung ginawa natin, nandito siya sa 00, minove natin siya sa frame 40, naglagay siya ng keyframe dito, naglagay din siya ng keyframe din dito sa frame 0, which is yung, yung 000 coordinates nga natin. So, yun ang benefits dito ni 3ds Max. Compare natin dito kay Blender, which is you might have noticed din kanina. No? Select natin itong object, and then as you can see here, nung pag-select natin ng object, doon pala lumabas yung mga keyframes natin. So, ginawa natin sa Blender kanina, di ba, naka-start off siya kanina dito pa rin, pero minove natin siya papataas yung frame natin. Yung sa frame 1 tayo, no? So, Control Z tayo, no? Balikan natin yung kung ano nangyari. Ayan. Ayan. Nandito siya, no? And remember, naka-on tong auto key natin. Try natin yung ginawa natin sa 3ds Max, no? So, punta tayo sa frame 40, and then move natin siya papataas. Notice the difference, no? Wala siyang frame dito sa frame 1 natin, no? Wala siyang keyframe na nilagay. So, it's basically stuck mid-air na, no? So, yun ang konting inconvenience dito sa auto key kay Blender and why I don't really recommend it, no? So, there we go. Yan lang ang konting minor difference, but it actually changes a lot, no? So, aside din of course sa minor inconvenience na yon, dito rin papasok yung isang usefulness ng auto key kay 3ds Max. Because like I said, kapag 3ds Max, I highly suggest auto key ang gamitin nyo. Huwag set key. Kasi napaka-troublesome ng set key, which we will cover in a little bit, no? So, notice nyo dito, sa keyframe natin, dito, no? We have a red mark, no? So, naturally, ang naiisip nyo, okay, yun siguro yung icon ng keyframe natin. Now, see what happens. So, let's say, dito sa frame 45, scale down ko siya. Remember, naka-auto key pa rin ako, no? Scale down ko siya. So, select ko yung object, press ko R, scale down ko. Notice, no? Nagbago yung kulay ng keyframe ko, no? Naging blue siya. So, ang nangyayari dito, it's actually just standard color coding lang to ni 3ds Max, which is, again, another useful thing kay 3ds Max na wala si Blender, no? Kasi si Blender, puro diamond lang yung niya, yung keyframe niya. Wala siyang any sort of color coding, not unless you open up your dope sheet. So, andyan siya, no? So, kapag red, it only animated a location parameter. So, pwedeng X, Y, or Z ng location. Kapag blue, scale naman siya. And then kapag rotation, let's say, i natin yan, magiging green yan. No? And as you can see here, kapag yung isang frame nyo, multicolored, such as this one dito sa lower left natin dito, we have red, green, and blue. Ibig sabihin, that keyframe is using location, rotation, tsaka scale, no? As part of its animation data. So, yun. Konting did you know lang naman yun. This is actually, again, super important para madali nyong manotice yung mga keyframes nyo kung ano ba yung meron doon. Madali nyong malalaman na, okay, but may rotation ako dito. Hindi ko naman kailangan ng rotation dito. Or sabihin nyo, okay, tama, may rotation ako dito. So, alam kong safe yung animation ko doon. Safe yung frame na yun from further mistakes. Oh. So, yan. Yan ang konting usefulness dito sa 3ds Max. No? So far, Nananalo si 3ds Max ngayon, no, compared kay Blender. Now, of course, how difficult to animate things are, depende na yan sa tao, no? Both are actually pretty useful software for animations, no? Actually, they're pretty much equal, no? But in terms of, aside from, in terms of extra functionality, of course, mauuna dito si Blender, no? Kasi si 3ds Max, medyo dated na siya, no? But, it can still provide yung mga, natin, standard na basic 3D animations natin hanggang character animations, no? So, you can still use whatever you want. Hindi pa rin tong sign para mag-Blender kayo or mag 3ds Max kayo. You can still use both, no? Doesn't really matter for me, okay? So there we go. That is AutoKey sa 3ds Max and kay Blender. Of course, if we want to stop animating na guys, no, sa 3ds Max, select lang ulit natin tong AutoKey and then we're good, no? Make sure na gawin niyo 'yon, no? Always don't forget always turn off your auto key kapag hindi kayo mag-animate kasi you don't want to do unnecessary changes while you are working in auto key kasi kayo ang mahihirapan yan, no? So let's say okay, let's say tapos na tayo dito, no? Let's say starting from frame 0 hanggang frame 29, okay na yan, no? It's quote-unquote jumping ball na yan. Now, let's say nalimutan niya yan, no? Bumalik kayo dito, napaggalaw niyo lang siya, ayan na, problema na yan, no? Nagkaroon na tayo ng unnecessary animation, no? So you don't want to have any of that. So always be careful sa pag-move niyo ng mga certain assets or pag-change niyo ng mga certain assets while auto key is enabled. Same goes dito kay Blender, no? Always turn off niyo tong auto key natin. Okay? Are we clear, guys? Any questions so far on that? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions, guys? Okay, good. Naging 13 na yung student. May 7 lang na absent. Okay, none. Okay, so let's move on. Now, let's move on to set key. No, now alam niyo na yung benefits kay 3ds Max and why auto key is actually super helpful. Babalikan ulit natin yan on why again auto key is king sa 3ds Max. No, babalikan ulit natin yan during modifier animations. No, punta naman tayo sa second mode of keyframe animation, which is set key. No, so to enable set key kay 3ds Max, no, may iba-ibang modes tayo dito. Actually, in all honesty guys, pwede naman kayong stay na lang kayo sa auto key kasi meron dalawang functions yung set key natin, which is yung set key mode and then we have your traditional na maglalagay ka lang ng set ng keyframe, which is this one, no? Itong plus icon na may susi na image dito. So there's really not much difference, no? So pwedeng stick kayo dito sa set key mode if you want to utilize yung set key mode natin. I mean, there's really not much any sort of difference between sa auto key and set key aside from auto key having yung auto record, sa set key wala, no? So set key is just your traditional na set key lang siya. Now, personally, hindi ko na ginagamit tong set key mode na to. Diretso lang ako dito sa auto key mode and then let's say, yun nga, no? Frame 40, pataasin natin yan. And then dito sa frame 45, gawin lang na ulit natin ginawa natin kanina, scale down natin to. Actually, no. Wag pala tong scale down. No? Gawin natin to sa... hindi. Tama lang to. Actually, no. It doesn't really matter din naman. Sige, set key na muna natin to. So, turn off muna natin yung auto key. Punta tayo sa set key. No? Actually, kasi pag ginalaw ko to, yun nga, automatic siya magre-record. No? So, dito sa set key, nasa set key mode na tayo. Again, dito sa frame 45, we're going to scaled it down. But as you can see, hindi siya nag-automatic record, no? So, gagawin natin, we're going to scale it down and then kiklik natin tong set key na icon natin. Set key natin yan. And then there we go. Now, dito naman ngayon papasok yung yung inconvenience dito sa set key, no? Sa 3ds Max. As you can see here, remember, in-scale down ko lang siya. So, dapat scale ng X, Y, Z lang yung change natin dito. But as you can see, no, yung binigay ko na example kanina, when it comes to multicolored ones, kapag may nakita tayong red, green, and blue sa iisang keyframe, Ibig sabihin, ginagamit niya yung location, rotation, and yung scale as part ng animation data. But remember, dito sa frame 45 ko, in-scale down ko lang siya. So, dapat makikita ko lang yung blue, right? But as you can see here, multicolored siya. So, it's using unnecessary data. Yun naman yung konting inconvenience dito kay set key, which is more unnecessary data. And yun nga, dito sa 3ds Max, as I said kanina, hindi tayo basta-basta pwedeng mag-delete ng mga animation data, no? So, select natin to, tingnan natin, no? Select natin itong keyframe na to. Right-click tayo. And then as you can see here, no? Ito na yung mga animation data natin dito, no? And then dito sa delete key, pwede natin gawin yun, pero sobrang hassle, no? So, let's say here, no? Ang ginamit lang natin dito is yung scale, no? Tanggalin natin itong mga exposition natin. Oops, select natin itong object. And then balik tayo dito. Ayun, no, nagtatanggal lang tayo ng mga key natin dito. So, tatanggal lang tayo niyan. Rinse repeat lang tayo. Ang hassle, 'di ba? At trabaho. Ganun lang naman yung pinaka-pag-delete natin dito. So, medyo konting hassle lang siya konti. Ayan, there we go. So, natira lang tayo sa scale. And then once we select this again, ayun, back to blue na siya ulit. Medyo hassle siyang gawin, no? So, matrabaho gawin. Isipin nyo na rin, no? Kapag marami kayong in-apply na animation dito, dadami yung laman nito. So, kapag nag-right-click tayo dun, kapag dumami yung ano natin dito, yung mga animation natin, kayo ang mahihirapan na magbawas yan, no? So, preferably, like I said, no, gawin niyo siya sa auto key. Pero pwede naman siya sa set key, no? Kayo na lang bahala when it comes to preference na lang yan, no? So, and there we go. That is how we can reduce yung animation data natin dito sa 3ds Max, no? A bit of a hassle, like I said, but it's completely doable naman, no? Not impossible, it's doable naman, no? So, yan. There we go. And then, of course, turn off lang natin yung set key. Actually, it doesn't really matter din naman na kahit always naka-turn on tong set key. Kung set key lang ang gagamitin nyo, no? Always, kahit di nyo natanggalin yan. Kasi hindi naman siya maglalagay ng keyframe kapag naggawa tayo ng any sort of change, di ba? So, okay lang na naka-turn on yan always. Huwag kayong matakot maggawa ng mistake kasi pwede naman i-control Z. And hindi naman siya masasave sa animation data, not unless yun nga, lagyan mo siya ng keyframe. Okay? Next. Clear na ba tayo doon? Clear na ba tayo doon sa set key? 3ds Max. Babalikan ulit natin to, no? Kasi meron pa tayong hindi pa na-cover, which is actually the most important one and probably going to be very much used sa 3ds Max and sa Blender, no? Pero unahin ko muna si Blender when it comes to set key na muna, no? So, okay. So, I'm guessing okay na tayo sa 3ds Max kasi I've completely forgot kung sino pa dito yung nag-3ds Max, no? So, I'll be asking the questions later na lang once I get through Blender, no? So, punta naman tayo sa Blender, no? Set key. So, dito tayo ulit, no? Dito ulit tayo. So, Control Z natin to. Tanggalin ulit natin tong naging keyframe natin dito. So, yan. There we go. Balik tayo dito. Now, we're gonna do is, like I said, no? Dito sa frame 40, pagalawin natin siya dito. Naka-auto key pa rin ako, no? And then, disable ko na tong auto key. So, remember, as I see here, no? Wala tayong any sort of animation dito. Wala tayong nangyayari dito. So, ang set key natin, we have two options here, no? Yung isa, yung traditional na set key natin na kagaya dito sa 3ds Max where kapag pinrest natin yung set key, bibigyan na tayo ng, yun nga, literal na keyframe, pero bibigyan na rin tayo ng mga unnecessary data. Dito sa Blender naman, we have, like I said, two options, no? We have that, yung sa 3ds Max, and yung most common method ng pag-set key natin dito sa Blender, no? So, dito sa Blender, unahin na natin siguro yung pinakauna, no? So, balik lang natin tong frame 1 natin, sa frame 1 natin. So, drag lang tayo dito sa frame 1. And then, balik lang natin yung Z-axis, yung Z location natin to 0. Okay? Now, so yung first method ng pag-set key natin is select natin yung object and then press natin I. And then as you can see here, we have insert keyframe menu. Pero ang daming unnecessary data pa rin tayo dito. Ang daming mga kung ano-ano. Pero literally, isa lang naman yung gagamitin natin dyan, which is location, rotation, and scale. That is your traditional na keyframe, no? And as you can see here, frame 1, frame 40, ayan, nagkaroon na tayo ng konting animation dito, no? So, ito yung pinaka-actually simple na ginawa natin kanina sa 3ds Max, no? So, to basically do what we did dito sa 3ds Max, kailangan nyo muna maglagay dito sa unang frame nyo as like a point of reference or point of origin ng object nyo before you move on to your next frame, no? Before you start using auto key. But, like I said nga, no? Mas madaling gawin nyo na lang siya sa sa set key. So, delete lang natin itong mga keyframes ulit natin. So, highlight lang natin to, yung mga keyframes na yan, and then delete. Okay? And then, zero out ulit natin to. And let's redo that same animation just by using set key. Dito na papasok yung preferred method natin sa Blender, which is yung mga isolated set key, no? So, manonotice nyo siguro dito sa Blender natin, no? May makikita kayong mga parang tuldok dito sa right side. They're always on the right side, guys, no? Etong mga specific na tuldok natin dito. Kapag may nakita kayong ganyan sa mga available na parameters, isa lang ibig sabihin yan. Pwede nyo siyang ma-animate, no? So, balik tayo dito sa frame 1. Okay? And then, we're gonna be doing that exact same animation. Now, of course, alam ko na yung gusto kong animation. Gusto ko lang naman siyang patalunin, no? So, dahil patatalunin ko na naman siya, ibig sabihin, z-axis lang yung magiging involvement niya. So, ang gagawin natin, of course, we need to set a frame of origin, no? Or yung point of origin natin, which is tong 0, 0, 0 natin. So, set ako ng keyframe dito sa location Z natin by simply clicking lang tong dot na to. And as you can see here, on hover, it says animate property. Select natin yan. And then there we go. Nagkaroon na tayo ng keyframe. And then move on tayo dito sa frame 40. Now, before I move on to frame 40, open natin itong maliit na dope sheet natin. And then we have here object transforms. And then as you can see here, yung clear difference natin, Z location lang yung binigay, no? Instead na kanina, kapag minove lang natin siya sa X, Y, and Z, ayan, meron tayong X and Y, no? Which is yung norm natin kanina. We don't want that, di ba? So, para tanggalin natin yan, kagaya ng tinanggal natin dun sa 3ds Max, simple lang yan. Select nyo lang yung yung animation data na yon, and then click delete. Ganun lang siya kadali, no? So, very user-friendly, no? So, there we go. Again, balik tayo sa frame 40. Patatalunin lang natin siya. So, tataas lang natin tong location Z natin. So, let's say 5 meters. And then, click lang ulit natin tong animate property na icon natin para maglagay ulit siya ng keyframe. And then, there we go. We have a jumping ball na. Ganun na siya kadali, no? That's how easy it is, no? Nagawa na rin natin siya sa 3ds Max, no? As you can see here. Now again, no, balik tayo dun sa isang sinabi ko kanina in regards to difference ng 2D animation and 3D animation, which is you might have already noticed already, no? This one right here. Hindi nyo makita yung keyframes, no? So, para makita lang natin yung keyframes ng mga object natin, kailangan natin i-select yung mga object natin para lang makita yung animation natin doon or yung keyframe natin doon, no? So, delete ko na ito. Hindi natin kailangan to. There we go. So, yan. Makikita na natin siya, yung keyframes natin. Okay? Are we clear on that, guys? Clear na ba tayo sa set key animation? Are we clear on that? Are there any questions? Okay, clear. Okay. Now, punta naman tayo sa most important thing, which I forgot to mention nga pala, no? So, sa animation, meron tayong isang term na pretty much alam nyo na to siguro at this point, no? Whether you took to the animation, which you might have already done, no? Kasi kailangan nyo yon, which is FPS, no? Or frames per second. Now, sa 2D animation, ang pinaano sa inyo, 'di ba? If I remember correctly, kasi sa amin, ang ginawa namin is either 12 frames per second or 24 frames per second, no? So 12 or 24 FPS. Now, dito naman sa 3ds Max, no? Sa 3ds Max and sa Blender, or basically sa mga 3D software, we can actually be more be more higher quality than that, no? So, pwede natin i-change yung FPS natin to 30 or 60 FPS. But definitely, ang i-recommend ko lang sa inyo is 30 FPS. Kasi 60 FPS, that's a bit, that's biting off more than you can chew, no? Masyado nang complicated yan. Mas kayo lang ang mahihirapan sa pag-animate niyan, not unless you already know what you're doing, no? Or sanay na kayo working at 60 FPS in terms of animation. So, change tayo ng FPS. So, sa Blender, napakadali lang siya. Punta tayo dito sa render properties. Ay, hindi pala. Sa render dito tayo sa output properties. Itong printer icon na to, no? And by default, si Blender, nakaset siya to 24 FPS, no? And we don't want that. Like I said, punta tayo sa 30. No? So, select natin tong frame rate and then change natin siya to 30. Not 29.97, 30. Okay? So, yan. There we go. Nakaset na yung frame rate natin. And we're basically good to go. This is already 1.1 seconds na, no? Kasi nagpas tayo ng 30 frames. There we go. 40, 1.1 na yan, no? So, there we go. Next, another important thing, no? Of course, yung animation length nyo. Now, dito sa Blender, napakadali lang siyang baguhin, no? We actually have two choices, no? Dito sa frame range or dito na sa mismong timeline. So, we have start and we have our end frame. So you can see, we can just simply change yung end frame natin to, let's say, 500 frames. And then there we go. Mag-change na siya kagad dito, no? And as you can see here, 500 frames na yan. And then kapag binalik ko siguro to 200 or 250, nare-reduce siya, no? So yun, we can easily do that dito sa frame range or dito sa mismong timeline natin. Okay? So yun, there we go. That's how we change our frame rate and our animation length sa Blender. Now, kay 3ds Max, dito naman tayo. No? So again, dito tayo sa may timeline natin. It's actually pretty hidden, no? So dito sa timeline natin, we have here, ito yung mga play buttons natin dito, ng pag-play natin ng timeline. And then dito tayo sa time configuration, no? Itong parang clock na may gear, no? Sa baba lang siya ng mga play buttons natin. Click natin to. And then, nandito tayo sa time configuration na menu. Now, of course, by default already, nakaset na siya to 30 FPS kasi yun yung NTSC na default niya. No? But let's say, yun nga, gusto mo yung going 60 FPS, no? Punta ka lang dito sa custom, no? Punta ka lang dito sa custom and then i-type in mo kung gaano kadaming FPS ang gusto mo. So, let's say 60, okay na yan, no? Or, like I said, 30 lang ang gagawin natin. Huwag tayo mag-60, no? 30 FPS lang tayo dyan. And then, as usual, end time natin, no? Yung yung length ng animation natin. So, you can actually change either of these, no? Pwede yung select yung sa length or pwede yung select yung sa time, no? So, select ko lang tong end time. Mas accurate siya actually, no? So, gawin natin 500 or gawin natin 250 kagaya sa Blender, no? 250. So, notice yung change natin dito sa timeline natin. There we go. Nagkaroon na tayo ng 250 frames, no? So 0 to 250. Actually, counting pa rin tong frame 0 natin. So in total, we actually have 251 frames, no? Sinasama niya yan dito sa frame 0. Now dito kay Blender, yun nga, ganoon din siya, no? Kasama din siya sa frame 1. So if we want to have 251 na frames natin, inset natin siya sa 251, no? So this one right here, nakaset lang siya to 250 frames, no? So if we want to have 251, which is my preferred method, guys, when you're gonna be changing your animation length, okay lang na sumobra kayo, no? Okay lang na sumobra kayo. Kasi kapag sumobra kayo, madali nyo naman siyang malilinis, eh. Madali nyo naman malilinis yung length ng animation nyo kasi it's just a simple typing lang naman yan. I-type nyo lang naman yung sa tingin nyo estimate nyo, no? So like let's say, gamitin natin example yung finals natin, ano? So finals natin, ang minimum requirement ko dyan is 15 seconds of required animation. Kayo bahala kung anong gusto nyong frame rate. So let's just assume yung frame rate na gagamitin nyo is 30 because yun nga ang pinapa-recommend ko if you want to have a very smooth animation. Kasi kapag select nyo yan to 24, medyo magiging choppy na yan. Medyo magbibigay na siya ng medyo 2D animated na look na siya, no? So let's just assume 30 frames tayo. So 30 frames, times 15 seconds. So that is 450 frames, no? So start natin is frame 1 and then type in lang natin 450 frames kasi yun na yung 15 seconds natin. And then lagay lang tayo ng isa pang frame, so 451 just in case lang naman, no? Mas again, like I said, mas magandang sumobra kayo, wag lang kukulangin. Yun, doon nagma-matter a lot yung animation nyo, no? And if you're really gunning for a maximum 15 seconds talaga sa animation nyo, you better be sure na talagang 15 seconds yan, no? Always take into account yung number of frames nyo sa animation nyo, no? So, like I said, if you're gunning for something in 15 seconds, mabuti nang iset nyo siya sa 500, no? Just to be safe, no? Kasi yan, lagpas na yan eh. Lagpas na yan sa 15 seconds. Yun nga, mas maganda yung ganun. Okay? So, there we go. But if you really like to live your life on the edge, sure, go ahead. 450 frames ka, no? Eksaktong 15 seconds na yan, no? So from frame 1 to 450, that's exactly 15 seconds. Now kapag 3ds Max, starting from frame 0, set natin siya to 450, no? 450 rin. Kung gusto niyo eksaktong 15 seconds, 449, no? Kasi like I said, no? Take into account din tong si frame 0. That's one frame, no? Tapos 449 frames papunta doon. So that's a total of 450 frames. Then there we go. We can easily play that. Ano lang siya. Tuloy-tuloy na yan. Pwede na lang i-render yan. So yan. There we go. Any questions in regards sa FPS or yung frame rate and yung frame range natin or yung length of animations natin? Any questions? Any questions? Are we clear ba? Any questions? Any questions, guys? Nakakahabol pa ba? Nakakahabol? Nakakaintindi pa ba? Or nakatulog na? Clear ba? Clear? Clear, clear, clear? Like I said, we're not gonna be moving on until someone says clear or none so far. No? Clear. Okay, there we go. Okay, clear na tayo. Alright, now before we move on dun sa next bit natin, kasi yung next bit natin dito is yung modifier animation. Let's give life dito sa jumping ball natin dito muna, no? So, saan ko ba mas magandang gawin to? Actually, reduce muna natin yung timeline natin. Balik lang muna natin siya sa 250, no? So, gawin natin siya to 250 frames ulit. 250. Okay. And then, dito sa Blender, balikan natin siya, 250. Okay, there we go. Okay na yan. Actually, pwede pa natin pababaan, ano? Babaan pa natin. Gawin na lang natin 100 frames. Di natin kakailanganin ng sobrang daming frames for this example, no? So, gawin na lang natin siguro 100 na lang. 100 frames. Or saktong 90. Hindi, sige, okay na yan. Sige, saktong 90 na. Sige, 100 na nga. Okay, 100 frames, no? And then, dito sa 3ds Max, bahan din natin siya to 100 frames. Okay? Alright. Now, let's complete lang muna tong animation natin dito sa bouncing ball natin. Let's play this, no? Tingnan natin kung ano itsura niya. Okay. Medyo iffy pa yung pagtalon niya, no? So, we're gonna have to take into account yung ano lang natin dito. Yung common sense lang natin dito ba, no? Syempre, if we're going to have a ball jump, no? We're gonna have to take into account air resistance, no? So, dito kayo mag-think logically, no? So, air resistance, so bale, ang initial take-off ng ball natin, definitely mabagal siya compared siya sa pagbaba. Now, currently, yung rising and falling, rising action natin dito, medyo mabagal siya. A bit too slow, really, no? So, ang gagawin natin, move lang natin tong keyframe natin. So, select natin tong keyframe natin, and then manonotice nyo, kapag nag-on hover tayo dito, nagiging double-sided arrow yung cursor natin. So, pwede lang natin i-slide sa gusto nating frame. no? So let's say try natin sa frame 25. Tingnan natin kung medyo okay na siya. Okay, medyo mabilis konti pa. Try natin frame 30. Okay, so I think somewhere around frame 25 to 30. Gawin natin 22. Oops. Okay, again. Ayan, okay. I think that should be good, no? Di pala, frame 22. Frame 27, no? Same goes lang rin dito sa Blender, no? So, highlight lang natin tong buong keyframe yung buong keyframe data natin dito sa Blender. And then, simple drag lang natin siya by simply using G, no? So, drag natin siya papunta dito sa 27 frame. Makikita nyo kapag kung saang frame na kayo if you look at the top left corner dito. No? See what happens here? Press ko G. May makikita kayong delta X, no? As you can see here. And then meron kayong makikitang close and open parentheses. Yung close and open parentheses na yon, kung ano yung value na nakalagay doon, yun yung keyframe data natin. Yun yung frame number pala natin, no? So currently 26 and then lagyan natin sa 27. Okay, so yan. There we go. And then if we play this back, okay, ganun lang rin siya, no? And then again, naka 30 FPS tayo. So it's all good. Now next, what I want is bababa na siya, no? Meron na tayong rising action, next na yung falling action natin. Now, para accurate yung natin, para accurate yung same na coordinates na paglalandingan niya, what I can do, since meron naman akong point of origin naman na, which is yun nga, no, yung point of launch ng ng bola ko dito, pwede kong i-duplicate na lang tong keyframe na to kasi uulitin ko lang naman yung data niya dito di ba? So, select ko lang tong frame 0 ko dito and then press and hold G habang naka-hover ako dyan until makita ko yung double-sided arrow. Press and hold Shift and then left click, drag ko lang yan. So, just standard duplication lang yan, no? So, let's say lagyan natin siya sa frame 40, tingnan natin kung okay ba siyang tingnan. Okay, masyadong mabigat, no? Parang masyadong mabigat tingnan, ano? So, parang bigla na lang bumigat yung gravity. So, gawin natin frame 50. So, alam natin, kapag rising action, mabagal. Dapat pag falling action, slightly mabilis, no? So, because we're taking into account gravity na, no? Again, common sense lang naman to guys, no? I-apply nyo lang naman common sense nyo sa animation. Or kung gusto nyo bigyan ng exaggeration, sure, why not, no? Tapos paulit-ulit lang natin yan. Tingnan lang natin if it looks okay, no? So I think that should be okay naman for now, no? We can make any changes we want later on, no? So gawin natin siguro one more frame less. Yan lang natin. Okay. Actually, parang mas maganda yung kanina. So yan, let's put it there. So take note, frame 48. Dito naman. Again, duplicate lang natin to, no? Same form of duplication natin sa Blender, no? So, highlight lang natin yung keyframe at naglalag ako. Bakit ako naglalag? Okay. So, highlight ko lang tong keyframe ko dito. And then, Shift D. Shift D, as in yung standard duplicate natin. And then, lalagay lang natin siya sa, ano yun? Frame 48, no? Frame 48. Ayan natin siya dyan. There we go. Yan na siya, no? And then let's let it play. Ayun, nagpe-play na siya, no? Nagpe-play na animation. So we have our standard jumping ball already, no? But masyado siyang pangit pa tingnan, ano? Medyo pangit pa siyang tingnan. Now, ang pwede natin gawin is we can actually add in-between frames natin dito. No? Mag-add tayo ng mga in-betweens. So, yung in-betweens natin, hindi ko na kailangan explain niya guys kasi you should have already know this by now kasi nag-2D animation na kayo. So, mag-a-add tayo ng in-betweens. Now, siguro, before launch, siguro I want a few frames siguro na parang nag-squash down siya and then another few frames na para mag-i-stretch out siya. So, basically, what I want to do here is I'm going to allot siguro 4 frames, no? 3 frames pala. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, no, 4 frames nga, no? 4 frames of in-betweens, no? In-between ng frame 0 and then frame 27. So, ang gagawin ko muna is, since yun nga, i-squash down ko muna siya siguro sa around frame 2, no? I want to duplicate this muna kasi gusto kong ma-retain muna yung original location niya. Kasi, like I said, squash down lang muna siya, no? So, it should stay in position muna. So, dito sa frame 2 ko, i-duplicate ko lang tong original na ano ko dito, na frame ko dito. Duplicate, shift, and then left click, drag. And then there we go. So, meron na tayong stasis moment dito. So, from frame 0 to frame 2, meron tayong, ano tayo dito? Meron tayong, how do you call this? Frozen time tayo dito na nasa ground pa rin siya. So, what we can do here is we can have it squash down siguro at exactly frame 2, no? So, press lang natin si R to scale down and then scale down na siya sa Z-axis. Para na-squash nga siya, di ba? So, konti pang squash siguro. Okay. Let's not forget, no? Let's not forget. We should turn on auto key for this, no? Ang ginagawa ko pa lang kanina, nagdo-duplicate lang ako, no? Which is okay, no? But dito na tayo mag-start, auto key na tayo. Start tayo ng auto key sa 3ds Max or mag-set key tayo for Blender, no? Unahin ko lang muna ito sandali. And then squash down natin siya dito sa frame 2. Yan. Tingnan natin how it currently looks. Okay, masyadong mabilis, no? Masyado siyang mabilis tingnan. So, kung masyadong mabilis, edi adjust lang tayo. Siguro, gawin natin frame 5. Okay. So, masyado pa rin mabilis. I think, around frame 7. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng ganon. And then, siguro, sa frame, ano natin, frame 6, doon na tayo mag-i-start ng, or siguro sa around frame 9, or around frame 10, doon tayo mag-i-start na ng, siguro, ng pag-angat natin sa, ano, sa location natin, no? So, dito sa part natin dito, what we want is, duplicate muna ulit natin to. So, shift, left click tayo dito sa frame 10, para may konting stasis moment pa rin tayo dito. Kasi dito sa frame 10, I'm going to stretch this out na. Kasi papataas na siya, di ba? So, yan. Tingnan natin currently itsura niya. So, frame 0, normal ball, and then it's going to squish down. And then, papunta na siya sa taas. And then, papatalon. And then, since yung frame na ano ko, yung sa around frame 27 ko, ano siya, before I started doing any of this, no, nakalagay kasi siya sa, ano, sa normal mode lang natin instead of auto key, na-retain tong ano ko, yung pag-scale down ko. But, napakadali lang ayusin yan because we can just simply change yung X, Y, and Z na ano natin. Yung X, Y, and Z na, oops, ang coordinates natin dito sa part natin dito. Actually, ayusin na muna natin. Ayusin natin to. Control Z lang tayo. Control Z na muna tayo. Okay. So, let's do this one more time. No? So, frame 5, duplicate natin to. Shift, lagyan natin siya dito. And then, dito sa frame 5, squish down siya. And then, pupunta tayo. Okay. Bakit hindi siya nag-retain? Wait. Kasi, meron siyang ano dito, no? Delete lang natin yun mamaya. Sige, delete natin to. Tanggalin natin yung scale. Oops, not this one. Right-click tayo dun sa frame 1. Delete key natin yung scale. Okay, there we go. Okay, ba't ganun pa rin yung problem? Teka, bakit? Teka lang, bakit ayaw niyang... So, balik tayo sa frame 5. Okay. So, this should be squished down. Auto key tayo. Dito sa frame 5. Squish down tayo dyan. Ayan. Tapos dito sa frame, ano to? Frame 27. It should be, bakit hindi lock itong ano ko? Teka. Okay. Gawin natin itong, ano ba ito? 58.941. Pagpakita lang siya natin dito. This shouldn't be doing. Okay. Okay. So, dito na papasok din yung pagkonting ano natin. konting clean up sa mga animation natin dito. But this wouldn't normally happen. Ewan ko lang kung bakit nagkaganito siya ngayon. So, frame 0, wala siyang any sort of transformation. Puntang frame 5, scale down siya. And then around frame, siguro frame 10 na lang, no? Around frame 10, duplicate natin to. Shift, duplicate natin siya dito para retain pa siya konti. And then, have it squish up. Oops, mali. Squish up natin yan. And then, ayan. Let's see how it currently looks. Ayun. May konting jankiness pa. Ayun. Pero, nagja-jump siya, no? So, siguro, at around frame 14, medyo, siguro around frames 18 natin dito, medyo reduce ko na konti yung pagka-stretch niya para may konting less yung tension niya. Para much less yung tension. There we go. Now, dito na ngayon, ito na yung tip ko dito when you're gonna be animating in between frames. Don't just straight up play, no? Just drag lang kayo, no? I-drag-drag nyo lang siya sa timeline nyo para nakikita nyo yung much more accurate na itsura ng animation nyo to see if it looks right, no? Tapos, i-adjust nyo na lang siya later on kapag i-change nyo na yung quote-unquote speed ng animation nyo. Now, next, okay na tayo dyan. Let's just check lang. Okay. Now, meron pa tayong konting irregularities dito but we'll cover that a little bit later, no? So, tapusin lang natin tong jumping ball natin. And then dito sa part natin dito. Okay lang tayo dito sa frame 27. Pababa na siya. And then at around frame 48. And then siguro next 5 more frames. Or siguro much less pa. Siguro frame 52. I want it to be squished down once more. There we go. And then, back siya to frame 56 na lang siguro. Then, change lang natin siya to yung same scale natin dito, which is 58.941, 58.941 para reset siya sa original. So, currently, let's have it play around. Oops, okay, may konting problem. Okay, so ang problem natin dito, ito pala kasi, no? Nagkaroon tayo ng scaling na ulit dito, no? So, we want to have a stasis moment pa rin dito, no? So, we want to have a stasis moment already dito sa 48, no? So, dito pa lang, change na rin natin siya sa original niya, no? 58.941. Then, back ba natin dito? And scrub natin dyan. Okay, there we go. There we go. Siguro konti pa lang, lagyan pa natin ng konting tension. So, squish down, balik siya dito sa, siguro, ganun pa natin yan. And then, let's have it squish down a bit more before returning to its original form. So, 58.941. There we go. So, tingnan ulit natin. Ayan. There we go. We have a simple jumping ball animation. Medyo, medyo mabagal tingnan. Siguro dito sa part natin dito, we can actually shorten this amount pa, no? So, we can maybe reduce it to around 60 frames na lang, no? So, hinighlight ko lang itong mga keyframe data natin dito, and then I just simply move them, no? There we go. Tingnan natin. Okay, then let's try to reduce this to 60 frames. Yung end time natin, 60. Tingnan natin kung in-itsura para naglo-loop siya. There we go. Nagkaroon na tayo ng jumping ball animation sa 3ds Max. Ganun siya kadali, no? Now, there are still some problems dito, definitely, no? Kasi yung parang medyo mali tingnan yung pagtalon niya, no? Pero like I said, babalikan natin yan mamaya kasi may konting cleanup pa rin tayo dito. Despite natapos na yung animation natin dito, may cleanup pa tayong gagawin dyan. Balikan naman natin dito sa Blender, no? So, let's just repeat what we did exactly kanina, no? Now, dito mas mabilis naman tayo dito, no? Kasi set key lang yung gagawin natin, di ba? So, again, sa around frame 5 natin ginawa yon, no? So, shift D natin to. And then around frame 5, may stasis moment tayo dyan. And then, what we're gonna do is, yun nga, let's utilize yung, ano natin, yung, tawag natin dito, yung set key natin, no? So, let's use our object properties on this one. So, around frame 5, scale down natin siya sa z-axis, no? Now, dito sa, hindi pala sa, no, wag pala sa frame 5, hindi, tama, sa frame 5, scale down natin siya z-axis, konti, and then let's add a keyframe there. There we go. Okay, dito pala, don't forget to set yung ano natin, yung original na scale niya, no? Mag-add tayo ng point of origin na scale, no? So there we go, sa frame 1. So ayan, nag-i-squash down na siya. And then, at around frame 10, dito sa ano, dito maganda yung ano, like I said, dito maganda si setkey kasi we can easily type in our coordinates, no? Or yung type in natin yung data natin. So dito sa transform natin dito, let's have it retain at 0 pa rin, no? And then again, add a keyframe here. And then what we want is to have this one stretch out naman. Stretch out. And then add the keyframe there. Let's see how it looks. Squish down, stretch up, and then tatalon na siya. And then siguro at around frame 18, since scale ng z-axis lang tayo, ililess lang natin yung tension ng bola na yun. Scale down natin siya konti. And then add a keyframe. Hindi natin kailangan lagyan na tong z-axis kasi gusto kong continuous pa rin yung ano niya. In between lang yung scaling natin. Okay. Okay, so this one, medyo weird pa tingnan. So, extend natin siya konti. So, select natin tong part natin dito. Lagyan natin sa frame 20. Okay, there we go. So, there's our first bit. Okay, there we go. Then dito sa frame 27, since nabago yung frame, yung mga scaling natin dito, baguhin lang natin siya to back to 1. And then add a keyframe kasi nawala na yung tension natin. There we go. Stretch slightly less and then back to original form. And then pagpababa. And then on impact sa frame 48, I want this one to have a few keyframes na magkaroon tayo ng squash down. So siguro gawin ko na lang to, duplicate ko na lang to, no? Duplicate ko na lang to kasi squish down to eh. Squish down tong middle part ko dito. So shift D. And then lagay ko lang siya siguro somewhere around 53. Okay. Alright, so konting clean up tayo dito sa part natin kasi nagkakaroon tayo ng squish down. So, as I can see here, no, nabago yung z-axis natin dito. Ay, yung z-scale natin dito. So, balik natin siya sa 1. Then, add the keyframe para ma-overwrite yung dati. So, let's just double check how it currently looks. And then, hits the ground. And then, squishes down. And then, siguro at around frame 60, let's just have it normally, yung normal na pag-bounce niya. Yung normal na, hindi pala, pwedeng hindi normal, siguro konting tension pa. Konting tension. And then, at around frame 65, pwedeng balik na siya sa 1. Then, add a keyframe. And then there we go. We have our finished animation once again. Okay? So, let's just see how it plays. Actually, mas magandang patingnan sa frame 65, no? Tingnan natin. Actually, no. Baba ulit natin. Gawin na rin natin siyang until frame 60 lang. There we go. Okay, that's much better. Set natin yung end frame to 60 and then let's have it loop. There we go. we have a jumping ball animation for 3ds Max and Blender. Now, of course, this is going to vary from person to person. Paano nyo i-animate yung pag-jump ng ball nyo, no? So there we go. That's how easy it is. Now, of course, like I said, hindi pa tayo tapos dyan. We need to do a little bit of cleanup first. But before we do that, let's move on to yung yung third part natin. Yung actually yung quote-unquote na hidden part ng mga 3D animation na wala sa 2D animation, which is animating your settings, no? Animating your settings, no? Now, like I said, dito sa Blender, pretty obvious na yung ano natin dito. Basta may makita kayo dito na tuldok, no? May makita kayong tuldok sa right side ng mga data natin, it means it can be animated. Now, sa 3ds Max, ganun din siya. No? Ganun din sa 3ds Max. We can animate our settings. Now, the only problem with 3ds Max though is there's no clear indication kagaya kay Blender. Kasi si Blender, meron siya yung tuldok. Kay 3ds Max, wala. You're gonna have to play around, no? So, let's create a new object. No? Gawa tayo ng simple na box. Let's play around with a simple modifier. No? So, dagdagan lang natin to. Gawin natin to 15 yung height. And then, let's add dagdagan natin yung segment siguro nito. So, dagdagan natin yung height segments. Yan. So, set natin to 15. Ayan, dagdagan pa natin to. Gawin natin 20. Or sige, 30 para mas madaling manotice. Now, definitely, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do some sort of animation that involves tong mga segments natin dito, no? So, I'm going to add a bend modifier. I'm going to have it bend, no? So, alam natin sa bend modifier, nagaganyan siya, no? So, what we can actually animate this, no? So, let's start siguro at frame 0. And then, so around frame 30, let's have it bend inwards, no? Forward pala. Let's have it bend forward. But of course, remember, mag-auto key tayo. Dito na ngayon papasok si auto key, yung power ni auto key kay 3ds Max. Because like I said, auto key is definitely a must kay 3ds Max. Kasi sobrang useful talaga niya. So again, dito tayo sa frame 0. Hindi naman natin kailangan lagyan na dito kasi it already starts at 0 yung angle. So pwedeng diretso na tayo sa frame 30. And then let's have it bend forward. So, lagyan natin ang angle. There we go. Now, as you can see here, kanina, ang color coding natin, we have red, green, and blue. No? Red for location, green for rotation, and then blue for scaling. Now, pansin nyo naman tong yung keyframe natin dito. Now, it's black. No? Black yan. Talagang magiging black yan, hindi yan error sa software nyo. Talagang black yung animation, yung keyframe animation niya. The question is, ano yung color coding? Bakit yun yung color coding natin? Now, kapag black ang lumabas na keyframe color nyo, it only means it's modifying an animation, light, camera, or materials, or basically any sort of settings, no, that involves itong mga natin, itong mga data natin. Magiging black yung keyframe animation natin. Okay? So as you can see here, no, starting from frame 0, manonotice siya dito, no, ang inanimate natin dito is yung angle. Manonotice siya, nagkaroon siya ng red na border highlights, no? Kapag may nakita na kayong ganyan, ibig sabihin, ina-animate siya, no? Yun na yung pinaka almost sorry excuse of a clear indication natin na pwede siyang ma-animate. Now, paano natin malalaman kapag pwedeng ma-animate ang isang item natin dito? Almost lahat naman dito sa 3ds Max pwedeng ma-animate. Pero, yun nga, the only way to know is trial and error, sadly. No? So, balik tayo sa frame 60. Let's have it bend backwards naman. There we go. And then, let's let it play. Ayan. Actually, let's have it loop na rin. Ano? Let's have it loop. Gawin natin sa frame 50. Diyan na lang siya. No? Actually, pamunta natin siya dito. Paganyan na lang. And then, sa frame 60, let's have it set to 0. Okay, there we go. So, yan. Let's have it play. Para naglo-loop siya. There we go. Siguro, i-extend natin to. Then, drag natin dito. Just to make it look nice. There we go. So we have animated a modifier. Now, like I said, pwede nyo ring i-animate yung lights, no? But I think I should let you just do that for yourself, no? Because like I said, dito lang rin naman yan. Make sure auto key is on and then i-change nyo lang yung mga data nyo, no? Now, let's do something more fun, which is yung materials, no? So let's add a material for this one, no? Add tayo ng material dito sa object natin dito. Let's just add a basic physical material and let us add it to our object. So lagyan natin siya dyan. Now, siguro at frame 0, start siya as normal na white, no? Remember, auto key is on, guys, no? Let's have it start as white, no? So yun na yung pinaka point of origin niya. And then at frame 30, babaguhin ko lang siya to, let's say, red, no? So remember, auto key is on. I'm going to change it to red. And then see what happens dito. Barely siya manonotice, no? Kasi naka-red siya, no? But if I reduce it, ayun, manonotice siya, nagkaroon din siya ng red na border highlights. So that means it is being animated. And then at around frame 40, which is nagbe-bend siya ulit, gawin natin siyang blue, no? And then click lang natin OK. You remember, it's still, auto key is still enabled, and yun nga, meron tayong red na border na highlights. And then, balik na lang natin siya dito sa frame 60, balik lang natin siya sa white. And OK. There we go. And then, let's see it play. There we go. Nag-change siya ng color, no? And we can also play around din sa mga various parameters niya kapag sa roughness, di ba? So, literally, same case lang rin naman yan, no? So, mga parts natin dito, pwedeng lahat natin ma-animate yan, no? Pwedeng ibahin natin yung roughness, pwedeng baguhin natin yung metallic, pwedeng natin baguhin yung reflections, yung subsurface scattering, yung emission. Kayo bahala. Lahat dito, guarantee ko, ma-animate yan. Now, paano naman kapag mga image textures? Now, sadly, those are a little bit different na, no? Hindi ko na i-cover yon. Those are a bit more complicated to do na, and it actually takes another topic pa. So, they're just a form of an extra topics, no? Now, yung mga extra topics na yon, nakita nyo na yun sa Discord ko, no? I'll be discussing what those are, no? Don't worry, guys. Marami pa akong matuturo sa inyo. Basta i-request nyo lang sa akin yon. Again, i-cover na lang natin yun at the end of our discussion. Okay? So, there we go. That is how you change your settings, no? Or basically animate your settings, no? Or your materials or your modifiers. There we go. Ganun lang siya. And then, since naka-animate din to, ilagay din natin siya dito, no? Ganun din. Ayan, no? Since ang ina-animate lang naman natin dito sa part ng materials natin is the material itself, not the actual object, no? So, there we go. We have an animated material already. So, yun. That's how easy it is. Now, sa Blender, ganun lang rin siya kadali, no? So, let's go to our material preview para makita nyo rin siya, no? And then, gawin natin yung, ano natin, cube ulit natin, ano? Gawin natin si cube, no. GY. And then, let's add control loops dito. Control edge loops pala. Control R. Okay, there we go. Oops. There we go. And then, let's add a modifier. Gawin natin simple deform. Gawin natin bend. And then, as you can see here, okay, medyo ano pala to, palyado to. Gawin natin, set natin yung origin natin dito sa pinakababa niya. Para maganda tingnan. Okay, there we go. And then, gawin natin sa 0 tong z-axis. There we go. Disable natin yung origins. There we go. And then again, add modifier tayo. We're just gonna do the exact same thing. So simple deform, change it to bend, and there we go. Now dito, anong axis ba to? Okay, y-axis. So y-axis natin yan. And then let's have it play. Okay, let's just double check everything. All right. So let's set it again, no? Gawin natin tong 0 sa frame 1. And then add the keyframe there. And then at frame 30 or frame 29 in this case, no? Frame 29, gawin natin, dagdagan natin yan. And then, set natin tong keyframe ulit. And then at around frame 42 na lang siguro. Backwards naman. Set key ulit. And then, pabalik na dito sa frame 60. Balik to 0. There we go. So, let's have it play. Let's make sure. There we go. It's animating. Now, that's modifiers done because like I said, guys, na-cover na naman natin to. Ayan, na-animate na natin to cover yung modifiers. So, we're all good in that part, no? Basically, lahat ng mga nandito, pwede nating ma-animate, no? Now, let's change our colors, no? So, let's add a color as a material dito. So, click on new tayo dito sa cube natin. Let's just say, pangalan natin yan, no? Pangalan natin epilepsy material kasi nagpapalit siya ng material, no? Epilepsy material. There we go. So, at frame 1, let's have it just stay as normal white, no? So, okay naman to, naka-white naman na siya. So, gawin natin siyang keyframe. Lagyan tayo ng keyframe dyan. As you can see here, nadagdagan siya, no? And then at frame 30, gawin din natin, no? Gawin natin, red natin. And then once it's changed, make sure to add a keyframe again. And then frame 40, gawin naman natin siyang blue. Add a keyframe again. And then back to frame 60, back to white siya ulit. So back to white. Then add a keyframe. And then, there we go. Ganun lang rin siya. No? It's producing the exact same result. And then, since yun nga, material lang naman yung inanimate natin, we can easily add it din dito sa bouncing ball natin. So, lagyan natin, epilepsy material. There we go. We have 2 animated objects already. No? So, yun. That's how easy it is. No? And we are running at 30 frames per second, guys. Guys, if your computer is running below 30 FPS, kasi ako, ang gamit ko dito 30 frames per second, no? Naka-EV lang ako, no? But if we change it to cycles, no, it might reduce, no? It might reduce your render time. Currently naka-material preview ako, so it's still utilizing yung maximum FPS niya. But if I were to switch to render view sa cycles, now mine is still running at 30 FPS now. Pero kung sa inyo, ako notice nyo, naka 1024 yung samples ko. Masyadong mataas yan, no? Yung viewport nyo. Kasi ako, medyo malakas yung computer ko. So, kayang i-handle yung 30 FPS. But I wouldn't highly suggest doing this. Now, if you want real-time, render, no? If you want real-time view sa animation nyo while it is rendered, I would highly suggest you switch over to EV muna. No? Now, of course, kung cycles na gagamitin nyo, ganun pa rin, no? If you want to just view it sa viewport nyo instead of rendering it, no? Kasi you definitely want to do that a lot of times. So, kapag Blender kayo, switch over to EV muna if you want to just see your animation on how it will look rendered, no? Switch over to EV muna kasi much more friendly siya sa mga real-time animations. But kung kaya ng computer nyo like mine, pwedeng stick na lang ako to cycles, no? But yun nga, kung magi-stick kayo sa cycles, yan ang hindi ko masyadong marirecommend kapag medyo below average yung computer nyo kasi babagal tong FPS nyo and magiging weird na tingnan, no? So, there we go. Also, I forgot to mention din, guys, let's make sure, yun nga, make sure natin na GPU yung ginagamit natin dito kasi apparently, na-notice ko lang rin, 3.4 maybe did something, I'm not entirely sure, pero hindi na niya automatic detect yung mga GPU natin, no? Now, ako currently automatic pa rin siya na-detect, no? So fortunately, pero may mga nagsabi sa akin na hindi daw dinedetect yung GPU nila. So let's do that, no? So punta tayo sa edit, punta tayo sa preferences, and then dito sa sa preferences natin, punta tayo sa system. Now, currently, ito yung cycles render devices. Now, this is only for cycles, guys, ha. Sa EV, no problem yan kasi EV uses your CPU, no? Sa cycles, of course, we have the option to use our GPU. Now, if you have a GPU, definitely use that if you're gonna be using cycles. And you're gonna have to tell Blender na ito yung mga yung pipiliin nyo dito, yun yung gagamitin niya for your render sa cycles, no? So, currently, this will definitely vary from person to person. Depende yan sa kung anong graphics card na gamit nyo. Now, if you're gonna be if you're using an NVIDIA graphics card, itong suggest ko, gamitin nyo si OpticX, no? Optics. And then, gamitin nyo yung pangalan ng mismong graphics card nyo. Ako, dalawa kasi yung akin, no? So, I have a 3090, which is what I'm using right now. Pero as far as I remember, kapag Macintosh naman kayo, alam ko ang available lang is CUDA or 1API yata. Etong HIP, wala ata rin siya. I'm not entirely sure. I don't really use a Mac, so you're gonna have to help me on that one, guys, sa mga nagma-Mac dito. No? Pero kapag Windows users ka and you're using an NVIDIA graphics card, OpticX ang gamitin nyo. Or pwede rin naman CUDA. No? Kung ano yung available, basically kung ano yung available sa inyo, yun ang gamitin nyo. No? And then iselect nyo yung graphics card nyo. Okay? Now, kapag hindi kayo sure kung alin dun yun, you can just send me a message dito sa Discord and then screenshot nyo kung ano yung available options nyo and then tutulungan ko kayo. No? But, kapag NVIDIA kayo, like I said, ganyan lang siya. Optics, gamitin nyo. Okay? And then, you're basically good to go na dito. No? You're basically rendering with your GPU na. So, there we go. Ano lang siya kadali. Alright? So, are we clear on that? Are we clear on that so far, guys? Are we clear on modifier animations as well as animating settings? Are we clear on that? Okay, clear. Okay, it's good. All right. Now next, ito na yung boring part sa animation, which is cleanup, no? So cleanup is the most boring part sa animation, no? Sana napakadali ng automation lang natin dito, no? Napakadali lang. Pero really, ang cleanup natin dito, while it is indeed easy, it is actually time-consuming, no? And very much patience-reducing, no? So, dito na papasok ngayon sina Dope Sheet and then si Curve Editor or si Graph Editor, no? So, balikan natin yan sa dito. Okay, so we already covered that. Ito na. Unahin natin si Graph Editor, which is actually the most important one. Si Dope Sheet kasi, it's just there, no? It's its own thing, no? It's its own thing. But unahin na natin si Graph Editor, which is the most important one. So, ang Graph Editor, or in some softwares, tawag natin Curve Editor, but in technical terms, in more general terms pala, ang tawag talaga natin dyan is Line Editor, no? Line Editor siya. It allows you to graphically alter the speed of the changes or transformations in your animation. Now, as you can already see dito sa animation natin dito, let's have it loop, no? Tingnan natin yung ball natin. Now, it might look like okay to you, but it's actually not, no? Tingnan nyo yung certain part natin dito sa pag-falling down. Parang ang bagal pa rin yung tingnan, ano? Kahit sobrang baba na natin yung amount of frames natin dito. That's because hindi maganda yung graph niya. Hindi maganda yung animation graph niya. Ang nangyayari sa graph niya dito is while it is falling down, ang way ng speed niya, instead of a straight line, which is what we all know, kapag falling down, straight line siya, no? Kasi gravity, no? Pero ang nangyayari dito sa ball natin dito is actually yung speed niya is Bezier. Pa-curve siya, which is not normal, no? We don't want that. Dito na ngayon papasok, like I said, si Graph Editor. So, let's stick with this one. Stick natin to sa timeline natin dito. Let's open up a new viewport, no? Pagtabihin na lang natin. So, right-click tayo again on in-between sa mga windows natin. Gawin natin siguro vertical split na lang. Then split natin yan. And then dito sa kabila, gawin natin is click natin tong editor type natin and then let's change to our Graph Editor. And then as you can see here, oof, ang hirap. Ang hirap tingnan, ano? Ang hirap tingnan. Daming stuff na nakalagay dito. But don't worry, we can easily change all of this naman, ano? Pwede natin i-hide lahat yan. Actually, pwede natin i-lock yung mga iba. Now, ang i-change lang muna natin siguro dito for the example here is yung falling down action. So, ang z-axis lang naman tayo sa location. So, the rest, we can actually hide and lock them. So, dito sa material animation natin, we can lock every single one of them para hindi natin siya magagalaw. And then, we can hide them just in case. And then, dito sa object transform natin, we can hide tong z-scale. We don't want that. And then, lock natin siya para hindi natin siya magagalaw. So basically, we're only left with our Z location. Okay? So next, notice nyo, like I said, no? Now itong from frame 1 to frame 27 natin dito, this one is okay, no? Kasi meron tayong sort of exaggeration na nangyayari dito sa part natin dito, no? Meron tayong exaggeration na nangyayari, no? So it's okay. We don't need to change any of this. We need to change yung falling down action natin. So starting from frame 27 to frame 43, we want this line, as you can see already here, no? As you can see already here, curve siya, as I said, no? We want this one to be straight down kasi pababa siya eh. So, ang gagawin lang natin, as you can already see here, no? Pwede natin baguhin yung curve natin, no? By simply clicking on a keyframe and then makikita nyo siya, parang meron siyang Bezier na curves natin. And then we can just simply align it to be straight, no? Same goes for this one. Now, this one is a little bit more harder, but there we go. And then, see what happens when I try to play it once more. Ayan, no? Straight down siya. Pero, medyo problematic, no? Medyo problematic siyang tingnan. Now, of course, normally, that's what I would suggest. But for something like this, no? For something when it comes to falling down, no? There's actually a much more simpler way for this one, no? Traditionally, kapag mga talagang hand-animated na objects, I would highly suggest doing this, no? But for something like this, you know, like I said, no, where common sense is taken into account, or common physics lang pala, no, we're going to be using interpolations, no? So select natin itong dalawang keyframes natin dito, which is frame, ano to? Frame 27 and frame 43. Select natin yung dalawang keyframes na yon by simply highlighting that. And then, press natin T. Press and hold T, or press lang natin T, and then we're gonna set it to linear. As you can see here, dito sa interpolation, select natin to linear. And then there we go. As you can see, mas malinis na yung straight line natin dito compared sa kanina, no? So tingnan natin, play natin ulit. Ayun, no? Much straighter na yung pagbagsak niya. Of course, may konting adjustment tayong kailangan gawin kasi masyadong mabagal tingnan. So ibig sabihin, kailangan natin i-reduce pa konti yung ano natin, yung animation time natin dito in between ng frame 27 hanggang frame 43, no? So we're just going to simply reduce lang yung time natin doon. But assured naman na yan na even if I change this, in between those two frames, straight line pa rin siya, no? So okay na ako dyan, no? I can easily remove this one na if I really want to, no? So remove natin yan. Let's go back here dito sa timeline natin. So let's just simply add a 40 more frames. So we're natin 100, no? Tingnan natin kung maayos pa natin siya o yung speed niya, no? So if we have more room to work with, pwede naman natin baguhin siya. So again, frame 27 hanggang frame 43, actually hanggang end pala, pwede natin baguhin yan. So select natin siya starting from frame 27 hanggang sa pinakadulo. Move lang natin siya papalapit pa. So G, oops, natin. Of course, don't forget, no? Don't forget to unlock yung mga other stuff natin dito, no? Don't forget to unlock them kasi if we don't unlock them, hindi siya hindi sila mag-move, no? So don't forget to unlock them. There we go. So use natin siya to there. Tingnan natin. Masyado pa rin mabagal. Konti pa. Okay, konti pa. Okay, almost 1 frame na yan halos. There we go. Okay, masyado nang mabilis yun. So, I guess somewhere in between na dito. Okay. Okay. Medyo weird pa rin tingnan. Actually, retain na natin siya sa dati, no? Actually, parang weird pa siyang tingnan, no? So, balik na lang natin sa dati. Mas gusto ko pa yung kanina. Sige, bawasan pa natin ng konti. Just a tad bit more. 1 frame lang. Ganyan yan. Continuous ang pag ganito nyo guys, no? Paulit-ulit kayong magaganyan until you feel like it's right na, no? Let Okay na yan. Okay na yan. I think. Okay na yan. Okay, so balik na lang natin siya to frame 60. Okay na yan. Okay na yan. So there we go. Na-clean up na natin yung animation natin by simply using yung graph editor. Yun yung number one way to clean up our animation on basically making it look right, no? Right as it can be, you know. So there we go. Now, ang paggamit natin ng mga interpolations, like I said, they are a bit of a case-to-case scenario na yan, no? Preferably, definitely, like I said, no, mas mabuting gawin niyo siya sa manually, no? Kasi mas lalo na kapag character animations 'yan, much better na manually yung gawin yung graphs niyo, yung graph editor niyo. Manually niyo siyang i-adjust, no? Kasi ang alam natin sa mga character movements or in real life movements natin, medyo irregular ang speed palagi natin ng mga limbs natin. And of course, yung mga natin, yung mga bones natin, paiba-iba silang speeds like I said, no? So, what we want, definitely, don't use interpolations. Use traditional na method natin dito, which is normally adjusting yung mga curves natin. Okay? So, there we go. That's how you clean up sa Blender natin using the graph editor. Clear tayo doon? Naglalag ako. Bakit ako naglalag? I shouldn't be lagging. But there we go. So, okay. So, naka-clean up na tayo doon sa Blender. Move on tayo sa 3ds Max. Now, sa 3ds Max, compared natin kay Blender, well, it's a bit more tedious. So, I mean, it definitely has yung graph editor nga natin or line editor natin. But when it comes to user friendliness, I would have to disagree na dito, no. Medyo pasakit sa ulo siya konti, no. So, gawin na lang natin. So, dito sa 3ds Max, punta tayo sa graph editors and then select natin tong curve editor. And then here we go. Now currently, wala tayong object na nakaselect. So we're gonna have to select an object. There we go. Select natin tong sphere natin. There we go. Now, of course, definitely, like I said, tanggalin na muna natin yung mga hindi natin kailangan dito. No? Tanggalin natin. So as you can see here, dito sa part natin, actually, before you start doing this one, before you start doing yung graph editor natin dito, you might want to clean up your keyframes muna. But ako, since hindi ko na ginawa dito yon, well, I'm gonna have to work with what I got now. So, again, I'm just going to find yung kanina, frame 27, frame Z position. Okay, so sinelect ko lang to. Select ko lang yung Z position para naka-isolate lang siya doon. And then, frame 43. So, ganun lang rin pala, no? So, frame 27 to 43. So, select ko lang yung Z position kasi yun lang i-alter ko na in terms of speed. And then, select ko lang yung yung mga keyframes ko. Same lang as Blender. Okay? So, this one nga lang, medyo problematic lang i-select konti. And there we go. So, gagawin natin is adjust lang ulit natin yan. Pwedeng manually as usual, select lang natin yung keyframe and then manually siyang i-adjust. Or we can use interpolation. So, select natin itong dalawa. So, left-click tayo dito and then control, left-click dun sa isa. And then dito sa taas natin, we have our interpolations. Ito. So, set tangents to linear. Select natin yon. There we go. Now, currently, ito ang problem natin compared sa kanina. No? So, pwedeng select lang natin itong isa and then set natin to linear para yun lang yung magiging part natin dito. Kasi kapag select natin dito, ang problem natin dito is pati dito, nag-set siya ng linear interpolation, which is we don't want that. No? We don't want that. So, Ang gagawin lang natin dito, sadly, we just have to move it dito, no? So manually natin i-a-adjust yung isang part natin dito, unfortunately, no? So pwede natin ang ano natin dito, ang pag-break kasi natin ng tangents dito, 'pag binrake natin 'yan, yes, magkakahiwalay siya pero magiging irregular na tingnan, no? Actually, since 2023 naman ako, tingnan ko lang kung binago nila 'to. Dati kasi sa 2022 gano'n siya, no? So let me just check kung gano'n pa rin. No, not unify, break tangents natin 'yan. Break tangents, okay. Okay, binago na. Okay, okay. Never mind. Guys, this is good. This is good na pala. Okay. So, there we go. Okay, so to do that, no, kailangan natin i-break yung tangents. Okay, that's good. This is good. This is good. Dati kasi hindi nila pwedeng gawin yun eh. So, select natin tong keyframe natin dito. Remember, may dalawa tayong Bezier curve natin dito. So, dito sa part natin dito, select natin 'to and then click lang natin 'tong break tangents, itong parang V na icon natin dito. Break tangents. So, after ma-click nyo 'yan, as you can see here, magkahiwalay ng gumagalaw yung mga Bezier curve natin dito. So, we can easily straighten this out, no? Ayan, there we go. Na-replicate na natin yung kanina sa Blender. And then, tingnan na natin yung itsura. It's going to produce the exact same result. Play lang natin. Ayan. There we go. So yun, that's how you clean up naman sa 3ds Max. Now, like I said, no, parang Blender lang rin naman yan eh, yung sa graph editor. They're actually similar talaga. They're similar in nature. So you can easily switch over kung gusto nyo, no? Wala naman silang pagkakaiba. No? Ang mas maganda lang dito kay Blender is, yun nga, hindi na natin kailangan ng ganong kaartehan dito sa 3ds Max, no? So yun, there we go. That's how you clean up using graph editor. Any questions? Any questions in regards sa graph editor? Remember, like I said, itong graph editor natin dito, it alters the speed of your animations, no? So, you're gonna have to think logically on this one, no? Sa tingin nyo ba, kailangan nyo bang gamitin yung graph editor? Kasi most of the time, minsan hindi nyo naman kailangan gawin pa yon, no? As you can see right here, no? I think dito sa part ko sa Blender ko dito, if I try to play this, try to play this, really, even before, it already looks close enough dito sa natin, sa cleaned up version natin with the linear interpolated na keyframe natin dito, no? So, pwedeng hindi na rin naman. That entirely depends na lang sa preference nyo. Sa tingin nyo bang, kailangan nyo pang i-change pa yung graph nyo? Sa tingin nyo ba kailangan bilisan pa yung pagbagsak ng isang something or pag-move ng isang object? You're gonna have to think on that, no? So, yun. That's how I would advise you to take graph editor into account when it comes to animation. Okay? Are we clear, guys? Are we clear on the graph editor? Remember, like I said guys, no, kapag sa Blender, i-lock nyo yung mga hindi nyo muna i-edit and i-hide nyo muna para hindi nyo sila masiselect. No? So, lock them. Now, kung maganda naman kay 3ds Max, isolated naman siyang isolated naman siyang nagbibigay ng mga data. So, you're just gonna have to select yung specific position na, yung specific na data na i-alter nyo, and then i-isolate naman na yun. So, that's one thing good about sa 3ds Max. Okay? Any questions? Any questions? Clear ba tayo? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Clear ba tayo so far? Guys? Gising pa? Don't worry, patapos na tayo. No? Patapos na tayo. No questions. Okay. So, next natin is dope sheet. No? Now, this is actually fairly basic already. Kasi itong dope sheet natin dito, this basically tells us what is inside our animation of a certain object. Now, dito sa Blender, we already have a dope sheet present already, no? We already have a dope sheet present already. It's this one right here, no? Itong nasa gilid natin. Ito na yung dope sheet natin. So, tingnan natin yung difference natin kasi meron din ditong dope sheet editor, no? So, add tayo ng vertical split ulit natin. And then, ito yung timeline natin. And then, gawin natin itong dope sheet, no? So, select natin yung editor type. And then, change natin to dope sheet. Walang pagkakaiba. 'Di ba? Wala siyang pagkakaiba. So, literally, we can just stick with our timeline right here. Di yun na kailangan i-open to. There's really no other relevance ang dope sheet aside from, of course, yun nga, keeping things organized. To. Dito mo malalaman kung ano yung mga data na present dun sa animation data ng object nyo. So, yun ang pinaka-main purpose ni dope sheet. That's literally it, no? Now, dito naman kay 3ds Max, dito ang problemado ako kay dope sheet eh. So, of course, select muna natin yung ano, dito sa graph editors, and then select natin dope sheet. Now, currently, ito siya. Kapag wala tayong selected object, we can add our sounds here, we can add our everything. So, if we want to see the data of an object, select natin yung object na yon. And then, click natin yung plus, and then there we go. Nakikita natin yung mga animation natin dito. Now, ito yung problema ko dito eh, no? So, even dito sa ano natin, dope sheet natin dito, kahit wala tayong nilalagay na any sort of changes sa position, rotation, scale, kahit yung mga ginamit natin dito, present pa rin sila, no? So, even kahit hindi natin nakikita dito, they are still present, which is my number one problem dito kay 3ds Max, no? It's giving so much unnecessary data na sa animation natin, no? Kapag in-import natin siya sa ano, kapag in-export natin yung animation natin from here and then import it to another software, mariretain pa rin tong lahat ng data na to. So, there's so much unnecessary or mga useless data na nagpapadagdag lang sa file size, no? Which is why I don't like don't like itong optimization ni 3ds Max dito when it comes to animation. There's so much unnecessary stuff, no? So sadly, we can't remove them talaga. We can remove them dito sa timeline in terms of color coding, but really they are still there, no? Kahit nasabing natanggal na siya, they are still there talaga. So, there we go. Aside from other functions ito, it's pretty much just the same as Blender, no? So it's just there to showcase yung mga present na data sa selected na object mo. And then as you can see here, it's a box 1001 natin. Ano yun? Modified object. Ito yung mga modify natin dito. Yung bend lang naman, di ba? So yun. There we go. Ganun lang siya. Ganun lang si Dope Sheet sa mga 3D software natin. And any sort of 3D software, literally, pareho lang siya dapat kay Blender, no? Ito na yung standard. Ito na yung pinaka-norm sa mga other softwares ngayon. Guys, sa Autodesk Maya, sa Cinema 4D, sa Houdini. Ganito na siya, no? Si 3ds Max na lang ang naliligaw. Bakit separate pa rin yung dope sheet? Bakit wala pa rin siya dito sa timeline? So, like I said, dated na, no? So, yan. There we go. Si Blender, dito na siya. Kita na yung dope sheet natin dito. We can easily remove them if we want to. So, yan. There we go. Ganun lang siya. That is our dope sheet. Are we clear so far, guys? Are we clear so far? Are we clear, guys? Any questions so far regarding the dope sheet? Kung ano sa tingin nyo pwede pa natin magawa doon? Any questions? Any questions? None. Okay. So, literally, guys, yan ang end ng discussion natin really, no? But I'm going to share one more thing which Blender has na wala si 3ds Max, which is, I don't know, something quite fun, no? So, itong quite fun na to is automated na bouncing ball, no? If wala lang akong magawa sa Blender, I'm basically trying to think of things that I want to animate. I just do this just for fun, So, ang ginagawa natin dito, so I have a plane here, and then I'm going to add a UV sphere once again, no? And then, tong UV sphere na to, move ko siya dito sa somewhere around here. And then, palitan ko lang yung origin niya ulit, no? So, options, affect yung origins. And then, move natin siya dun sa pinakababa. So, G, Z, sa pinakababa. Doon ba siya? Hindi pa. There we go. And then options, disable yung origins. Okay. And then let's lay it down flat. No? So z-axis, gawin natin 0. There we go. Now, here's what I do. No? So, ano to? Bakit may animation ako dito? Bakit may animation ako dito? What is this? Itong animation na to. Okay, there we go. So, what I do is, dito starting at frame 1, let's say I want to just have it fall down, no? Just have it bounce. Now, again, sa 3ds Max wala to, no? Manually yung gagawin to kay 3ds Max, no? So, dito kay Blender, I'm going to set it here sa frame 1, and then I'm going to add a keyframe dito sa z-axis natin dito. So, object properties, add tayo ng keyframe dito. And then at around frame 40, let's have it at the 0. Oh, so nandun na siya sa, nakalay down flat siya sa plane. Okay? So we have basically a falling ball. No? Now, here's something fun that we can do. No? So open natin tong graph editor. So vertical split tayo. And then let's open our graph editor. Now, as you can see here, no? Itong object transform natin dito sa ball natin dito, it's pretty obvious naman na, no? Bezier curve siya. Yun na yung normal na ano natin kanina, di ba? It's always going to be a Bezier curve always, no? Kapag nag-animate kayo. By default, it's always going to be a curved na line dito. So what we're gonna do is, again, select natin yung dalawang keyframe natin dito. Select natin yung dalawa para dito. And then dito sa graph editor natin, we're gonna press T to open yung interpolation natin. Press natin T. And then, let's have it bounce dito sa dynamic effects. Ito, like I said, wala to sa 3ds Max. So select natin itong bounce. Now, notice what happened dito sa sa graph editor ko. And then, let's see how it looks. There we go. We have a simple bouncing ball na, no? We already have a simple bouncing ball, which is already super fun. Now, do take note, guys, no? Dalawa lang yung keyframes natin. Pero, kapag tinignan nyo siya dito sa graph editor ko, it looks like it has 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5 na keyframes, no? So basically, nadagdagan siya ng 3 keyframes in between, no? Pero wala naman present dito. Now, dito na yung maganda si dynamic effects, no? This is what I really love about this one. Kasi, it saves you the amount of data you needed, no? Hindi niya na kinailangan ng keyframe. Mano-mano niyang inedit tong graph editor dito para makuha tong effect na to, no? So yun, there we go. Ganun siya kadali, no? And then maybe let's have it bounce naman sa another direction, no? So let's duplicate this one again. Let's duplicate this one. Siguro move natin siya a little bit dito. And then let's have it still play. Ganun pa rin siya, no? So, let's duplicate this one. So, Shift-D. Lagyan natin siya dyan. And then, this time, and there we go. Nagbabounce na yung dalawang bola natin. Now, this time, what I'm going to do with this one is, open up ko yung dope sheet nito. Ang gagawin ko dito, set ko lang ulit yung interpolation ng dalawang keyframes ko dito back to default, no? So, select ko lang ulit itong dalawang keyframes. Press ko T. And then, I'm going to set it to Bezier, no? So, it's still the original animation kanina. This time, what I'm going to do is sa frame 40, I want it to move. Gusto ko yung pagbagsak niya pa slant, no? So, i-move ko siya konti dito somewhere around here. And then, there we go. Wait, kasi di ako nag-add ng keyframe, no? Add ako ng keyframe. And then, there we go. Dito sa part natin, babaan ko siya dito. Wait, no. Dito. Animate itong keyframe dyan. And then dito pala, mali ang ngayon ako. Dito ko. And then add a keyframe. So, it's basically slanted motion siya. Now, if I were to add a bounce na dynamic effect dito sa Blender, so I selected everything here, no? And then I press T, and then I press bounce again. Medyo, Wait, actually, hindi ko na select lahat, no? Teka. Mali. It shouldn't normally do that. Teka. Kasi ang dapat na i-change lang dito is yung Z location lang, no? Wait, kasi hindi pala ako nag-set key. Never mind. Hindi pala ako nag-auto key. Okay, never mind. Never mind. So if you're just doing what I did, no, nag-set key lang ako. Kasi normally kapag, teka, baguhin ko. Let me just redo it again. No, then let me use set keys. No, let me delete everything here. Let me delete everything. So let me use auto key. No, auto key for this one para maganda yung example ko. So let's set everything dito. Let's say paano kapag ganyan, and then at frame 40, naka ano tayo, yung x-axis is still at 0. Yung y-axis is going to be set. Okay, naka-auto key naman pala ako. And then, gawin ko tong 0. There we go. So, we have a slanted motion right here, no? And then, kapag nilagay ko siya ng interpolation, t, and then I put it bounce, medyo weird tingnan, di ba? Yun ang normally na makikita nyo normally, no? Kapag ganito yung ginagawa nyo. Now, kapag ganyan yung case nyo naman na ngayon, if you wanted to bounce papunta dito sa side na to, ang lalagyan nyo lang ng bounce na dynamic effect is yung Z location, no? Yung Z location lang yung lalagyan nyo. So, select nyo tong Z location and then make sure lock natin tong X and Y natin. Yung Z location lang yung sa-select natin, no? So, select lang natin tong dalawang keyframes natin dito. This one here for our Z location. And then, dito sa curve editor or sa graph editor natin, press T and then have it bounce. And then, there we go. We have a bouncing ball already. Now, do take note, guys, this is still hand animated, no? This is still hand animated. This is not simulated, no? This is not simulated whatsoever. Kapag simulated yan, mas madali siya, no? So, showcase ko na rin sa inyo kung paano kapag simulated, no? So, kapag simulated yan, let's use this one. And then delete natin to. And then select natin tong object natin dito. Again, guys, this is something na 3ds Max doesn't have, no? Meron siyang particle pero wala siyang capability to do something like this, no? Na i-showcase ko. So select ko to and then punta tayo dito sa properties panel. It says here particle properties. Actually, tanggalin ko na to, medyo nakakalito na to. Tanggalin ko na to. Show areas ko lang. Okay. So I have here, ito yung emitter natin, no? So, punta tayo sa particle properties. This one right here. Wait, tama ito. Particle properties, click on plus, and then set natin siya as emitter. And then, let's have it bounce, no? So, yan, there we go. Meron na tayong particle system. But, let's say, we want to use certain na collision dito. So, we want to collide it dito sa plane natin, no? So, dito sa natin, sa plane natin, lagay tayo ng, saan ba yun? Physics properties, add tayo ng collision. Now, currently, wala pa siya, hindi pa siya nagko-collide, no? So, we need to change something dito sa particle system. We need to change, Nasaan na yun? Where is it? Teka. Where is it? Bakit di siya nagpapakita dito? Bakit? Where is it? Bakit di siya nagpapakita dito? Why are you not showing? Teka lang, bakit nawawala yung ko? Wait. Bakit? Where is it? At nandito yon. Dami siya sa rotation. Bakit nawawala ang aking impact? Where is impact? Teka. Teka lang, guys. Ba't nawawala yung impact ko? Where is my impact? Where is it? Hindi, integration. Wala naman. May binago ba sila dito? There shouldn't be any sort of change dito. Bakit nawawala yung impact ko? Teka. Troubleshooting. Bakit? Nawawala yung impact ko. Bakit? Ah, hindi rin. Bakit nawawala ang aking impact? There should be impact dito. May binago ba sila? Okay. So may konting problem ako dito. Ba't may parang binago yata sila dito? There should be an option here that says impact on hit, no? Sa collision natin dito. Dito sa part natin dito, meron tayong collision, no? There we go. May collision tayo. Oh, ba't ngayon? Ayaw na. Bakit kanina ayaw? May binago ba sila sa particle effects? Teka, I need to catch up sa patch notes ko sa 3.4. Okay, teka. Bopols! Ako pala may mali. Ako pala may mali. Ito pala yung nalagay ko na collision. So, okay. Siguro parang tinanggal nila yung impact. Kasi dati, sa particle effects, dito siya sa dapat nandito siya sa physics, no? Na meron tayong dito sa physics, meron ditong impact on hit na na tab na kailangan nyo munang i-tick before you add a collision na physics property dito sa plane natin before you can actually start colliding dito. But apparently, tinanggal na nila yon. Diretsong collision na lang. Okay, that's good. So yan, there we go. So apparently, ganun na lang siya. No? So select nyo muna yung object as your form of emitter. And then, yun na. May particles na kayo. Now, of course, you need something na para mag-impact yung yung particles nyo. Select nyo tong plane ko dito or sa case ko nga itong plane, no? And then dito sa physics properties, ito, tong icon natin dito. And then click natin collision. Apparently, ganun na lang, no? So yan, and then there we go. We have bouncing particles, no? And then let's see if it rendered. There we go. So let's have it render at that point. Tingnan natin para makita siya. And then click natin. View natin siya dun sa part natin dito. And then let's have it render. Tingnan natin kung ano itsura. Now currently, wala tayong makikita, no? Which is a problem, no? We have bouncing balls dito pero wala tayong makita whatsoever. Now, paano natin makikita yan? Kasi itong particles natin dito, wala siyang substance. Wala siyang any sort of substance whatsoever. So we need to add something dito na para mag-represent as said na object natin, no? So let's use this sphere natin dito. Itong maliit na sphere natin dito. And then, balik tayo dito sa emitter ko. And then dito sa particle system, what we're gonna use is sa render. So yung render. Render. Ito, render as. Select nyo dito yung object, no? Now, preferably, definitely, mas maganda kung collection siya, no? Kanwari, para may konting kayo. May konting variation kayo. But since iisa lang naman tong itong object ko dito, I'm just going to simply use yung object, no? So, render as, select ko yung object, and then I'm going to select yung sphere 4 ko. Sphere 4. Ayan, there we go, no? So, ayun na yung mga sphere ko doon. Now also, pwede kong gawin dito, baguhin ko yung scale and then yung scale randomness, no? So, let's see how it currently looks sa render. Ayun, nagpakita na yung particles ko. Now we have a bunch of bouncing balls, no? So, yan. So, let's have it increase to frame 200 kasi yun yung maximum na nakalagay dito. Ano? There we go. And then, para hindi natin makita tong emitter natin, we can actually turn off yung emitter, no? So, punta tayo dito saan ba yun? Sa render ulit. Ito, turn off lang natin yung show emitter para hindi siya makikita sa animation natin. Just straight up itong animation natin. There we go. Ganun siya kadali, no? Ganun lang kadali, no? Unfortunately, yun nga, wala tayo kay 3ds Max ng ganito, which is very unfortunate because yun nga, like I said, it is very dated, no? Very dated na yung mga simulations niya dito. But babalikan ulit naman natin to ulit guys, no, sa last discussion natin, sa last discussion after ng rigging, no. This is already as a form of extra discussion, yung particle effects, no. Meron naman, like I said, may particle effects sa 3ds Max, but it works a tad bit differently compared dito kay Blender, no. So, babalikan na natin yon next time. Okay? So, there we go. Now, itong particle effects na to, I'm going to segue na dito sa pag-save ng animation natin because I think yun na yung pinaka-important part natin dito, no? Which is actually di ko pala na-discuss, no? Di ko na-discuss yung say how to save animations. Di pa pala tayo tapos, no? Di pa pala tayo tapos. Ito na, last na talaga to, no? Saving animations na tayo, no? So, dito muna tayo sa Blender, which is actually the most fastest one. So, gawin na lang natin to ganyan. Lakayan na lang natin. Then for this one, let's add a sphere for this one. Gawin na natin yung epilepsy material para mas lalong nakaano. Wait. Bakit? Ayan, there we go. So, frame 60. Gawin natin frame 60 lang kasi yun yung pinaka-maximum natin kanina. And then, let's have it start here. Gawin natin tong lakayan pa natin to. So, yan, there we go. Let's have this one to be color black para makita natin yung objects natin. And there we go. So, to save our animation, oops, bakit doon ka pupunta? Bakit doon pupunta ano ko? Naka-ano ko, ba't naka-camera to? Delete ko yan. Okay, there we go. So, there we go. We have our animations for today, no? So, gagawin natin, set na natin yung camera to whatever angle we want, no? Kung gusto nyo bigyan ng animation ng camera nyo, good, go ahead, no? Kayo bahala. But for now, let's use this one. Of course, let's set it to our set na resolution, no? Let's say gawin natin tong 1080 by 1080, no? Square format. And then tingnan lang natin kung ano itsura niya sa thumbnail. Okay. Sige, gawin natin sunlight na lang natin to. Gawin natin sun. Gawin natin sun. There we go. Masyadong malakas. Gawin natin 200. Masyado pa rin malakas. 100. Okay, there we go. So, we have our setup scene na. And naka-setup na rin yung natin, camera. Okay, medyo babaan ko pa konti itong camera. Babaan ko pa ito konti. Somewhere around here. Ganito. Alright. So, nakaset na yung resolution natin. Nakaset na yung 30 FPS natin. We're basically good to go. Now, next, punta tayo dito sa output. Now, this one will be different from you. Of course, itong output natin dito, you're gonna have to change your directory to where you want this one to be saved. No? Now, I'm going to make a folder. Gawa tayo ng folder, of course. Always make a folder for your animations. Definitely, same folder yan ng ng project folders nyo. No? So, just made the new folder. Select ko lang siya sa new folder 2 ko. And then, inside, gawa ko ng bagong folder ulit. For Blender. No, Blender. And then one for 3ds Max. 3ds Max. There we go. So, flash ko lang. There we go. Lalagay ko siya sa Blender. And then I'm going to accept it here. Now, when you're going to be rendering animations, there's definitely there's literally one recommended method, no? Which is rendering it as a PNG sequence or an image sequence. No, now I don't really need to explain what an image sequence is. You already know what that is. No, you should already know what that is. no? So basically, sa image sequence natin, it's going to be rendering out each individual frame, no? So basically, ang magiging output nyo dito is all of your frames rendered as pictures, no? So that's what we're gonna do. Now, we're just going to set it as normally as PNG. Okay na ako dyan. And then color management, wala na akong kailangan gawin dyan. Everything is all good. Nakaset na yung project folder ko. It's all good. Now, ang gagawin ko na lang, click on render sa menu bar ko. Now, preferably guys, you're gonna have to turn off yung animation mode nyo, yung rendered mode nyo para smooth ang rendering nyo. So, punta tayo sa render. And then render animation natin. Make sure itong frame start nyo and then yung frame end nyo, kapareho siya dito sa timeline nyo para makuha lahat ng nasa animation nyo. Okay? So, render animation. And then, we just let it render. Now, of course, guys, dahil image sequence ang ginagamit natin dito, you have to take into account your sample count. No? Ito, paulit-ulit ako dito. Ilang beses ko nang nakikita kayo na yung mga Blender users, nag-i-stick pa rin kayo sa 4,096 na samples. God, guys, ako natatakot para sa inyo. No? Kapag hindi nyo baguhin yung sample count nyo, if you still don't know how, please guys, napakadali ng baguhin yan. No? Andito lang yan, baguhin nyo na. Don't stick to 4,096. Kayo lang ang mahihirapan. No? Remember like what I said, ano? Stick to as low as sample count as you can, no? Kung sa tingin niyo mababa pa rin yung yung sample count niyo dahil medyo madumi pang tingnan, make sure naka-turn on ba yung denoise niyo. Kung naka-turn on yung denoise niyo and talagang madumi pa rin siya, then doon pa lang kayo mag-increase, no? As much as possible, try to have as low as a sample count as you can, no? Kasi yung render time na pinapakita ko sa inyo dito, may iba to sa inyo guys, no? May iba yung render time nyo depende sa computer nyo. Now, like I said dito, medyo malakas yung computer ko kaya napakabilis lang nitong 60 frames ko na to. No? As you can see already, frame 46 na ako. It's barely a minute. No? It's already barely a minute. 1 second lang per frame halos ang render. And there we go. Yan, no? 52. So, make sure to change your sample count, guys. No? Paulit-ulit ako dyan palagi. Kapag Blender users, kapag 3ds Max, wala na silang problem dyan eh. Kasi most of the time, malinis naman na yung renders nila, pero talagang kapag madumi yung renders nila, wala tayong magagawa doon. Talagang ganun si 3ds Max eh. So yan, there we go. Tapos na yung render natin. Nandito siya sa 3ds Max. Ayan oh. Ito na yung PNG sequence natin. And then, pwedeng ilipat nyo na siya sa sa video editor nyo or sa After Effects nyo or sa Premiere, no? So, ang gagawin nyo na lang sa Premiere or sa After Effects or sa kung ano mang so kung ano mang video editing software yan, import image sequence, no? I-import nyo lang siya as image sequence. Okay? So, once after that, i-select nyo lang lahat to and you're basically good, no? Now, another option that you can do is of course, kung talagang confident kayo sa computer nyo na hindi siya magka-crash, sure, pwedeng rekta nyo ng i-render as a video, no? So papalitan nyo lang siya, so instead of file format, gagawin nyo siyang FFmpeg video. Now dito, scroll down tayo ulit. Color management, wala na tayong kailangan gawin dyan. Dito sa encoding, select natin yung container. Instead ng Matroska, select natin as MPEG-4 para MP4 ang resulting natin dito. And then, hindi nyo na kailangan baguhin to, not unless gusto nyo, no? And then again, render animation. Now, this time, instead na PNG animation gagawin niya, it's still going to do the exact same thing. Render niya per frame. Pero ang magiging output niya na lang dito is already a MP4 video. No? So, let's just wait for it to render and then we'll view it. Now, while this is rendering, guys, may questions ba tayo so far? May questions ba tayo? Catch up ba? Any questions? Any questions? I swear, ito na yung pinaka-final natin, saving animations na tayo. Final na to, last na to. And then, discuss na natin yung activity nyo. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions ba, guys? Any questions? Gising pa ba? None. Okay. None. Okay. Frame 50, frame 51. Yun lang. Again, guys, I can't reiterate it enough. Palitan nyo yung sample count nyo, please. Palitan nyo yung sample count nyo before you start rendering. Ako ang maawa sa computer nyo. No? You're only gonna be hurting yourself kapag hindi nyo baguhin yung sample count nyo with the default 4096. Okay, so there we go. Na-render na siya at 1080 by 1080. Ito na siya. Ito na siya. Repeat ko na lang. Ito pala. There we go. Ayan na. We already have our rendered animation. So yun. That's how easy it is. Now, para naman kay 3ds Max. Now, dito naman yung may konting problem tayo. Remember, ang start ko dito is Arnold Render View, tapos yun ang standard na animation natin dito, no? So, that's how we normally do it. Pero, dito na tayo mababago ngayon. We're gonna be using yung render settings na natin. So, balik tayo sa render settings. So, punta tayo sa rendering. And then, render setup. And then, dito, we're still gonna be using Arnold, of course, no? Kasi yun lang naman tinuro ko sa inyo. Ngayon, ang gagawin naman natin ngayon is we're going to click on Save File. Click natin tong Save File. And then, dito sa Save File natin dito, of course, select natin yung folder natin, no? Select natin yung folder. Dito ko siya nalagay. And then, click on Save ko lang yan. Now, di ko muna gagalawin to. Sige, pwede ko na galawin, no? Set natin siya to PNG image, no? PNG image muna, gamitin natin siya as ano, as a normal na tawag dito, na PNG sequence muna. So, save natin yan. Wait, actually cancel muna tayo. Before we do that, naka-single frame pa pala tayo, no? So, ayusin muna natin itong scene, no? Ayusin muna natin. So, add lang ulit ako ng plane. Then, let me zero this out. Ayusin ko lang yung scene ko. And then, di ko na kailangan maglagay ng camera. I'm just going to be using this one. Sige. Palakihin ko pa to. Gamitin natin. Oops. Okay. Okay na yan. And then, let's scale this up. And let's use this. Tingnan natin kung ano itsura niya sa render. Okay. Then, bigyan natin ng light. Bigyan natin ng light. Let's go to our environment. Lagyan na natin ng physical sun and sky. Physical sun and sky. Physical sun and sky. And then, we're going to be using automatic exposure, physical camera. Change natin to 13. And then, let's see how it currently looks. Okay. So, masyado pang malakas, no? Gawin natin, taas pa natin. 15. Okay. And then, gawin natin tong black tong part natin. Kuha tayo ng bagong material. Lagyan natin dito. And then, change natin to black. Okay. Then, let's see how it looks again. Okay. So, that looks good. Now, next is, let's render this out. So, rendering, render setup. Now, of course, ano tayo? 0 to 60 frames tayo, no? So, total of 61 frames. Now, by default, nakaset tayo sa single, no? Kasi yun ang still renders lang tayo noon eh. So, we're going to change it to range, no? Set it to range. So, itong range natin dito, i-indicate natin dito yung frame start natin and then yung frame end natin. So, nag-start tayo sa frame 0. We're gonna end it at frame, ano to? 60, frame 60, no? So, total of 61 frames tayo. So, 60 frames. And then, we're basically good to go. Now, of course, gawin natin tong 1080 by 1080. So, change natin to custom. Gawin natin siyang 1080 by 1080. Same as sa Blender. And then, save file natin. Click natin tong save file. And then, all formats, gawin natin siyang PNG image, no? And then, let's just name it as 3DS, no? And then, lagay natin siya dito sa new folder ko. Dito sa 3ds Max. And then, save. Okay, then press natin OK. And then, let's click on render. Now, ito na yung lalabas. Magre-render siya. Frame by frame. There we go. Just wait for it to render na lang, no? Of course, I think hindi ko pala change to GPU. Naka-CPU ang change ko dito. Okay, so since CPU ang gamit ko dito, medyo bagal-bagal konti. But there we go. That's how it is, no? So, ang ano natin dito, pwede rin naman natin siyang gawin as a video format. Pero, as AVI only, no? So, that's a bit problematic na, no? Kasi kapag AVI, masyadong mabigat na yung magiging file nyo doon, no? We don't really want that. We want to have a nice, katamtaman lang na file, no? Based dun sa ano natin, sa number of seconds dun sa frame na, sa ano natin, sa animation natin, no? So, what we're gonna do is just stick with the image sequence. Kasi ang gagawin natin ngayon is babalik naman tayo sa Blender ngayon. Kasi sa gagawin natin sa Blender, after we render out our image sequence here, we can convert our image sequence into a MP4 video already. Without, kung let's say wala kayong Premiere or wala kayong After Effects sa computer nyo, pero may Blender kayo. Pwedeng-pwede nyong i-convert yung image sequence nyo into a MP4 video. So let's just wait for this one to render. No. Medyo mabagal. Oh no, nag-iinit na. 82 degrees na yung ano ko. Yung temperature ng ano ko, CPU ko. Umiinit na. So, any questions ba so far? Tingnan natin, no? Live na nagsasave dito sa folder ko. As you can see here, yan. Live siya nagsasave. Any questions ba tayo so far? Any questions? Halfway through pa lang. So definitely for animation guys, kung may available kayo na GPU, definitely I highly suggest gamitin nyo yon, no? Now if you still don't remember dito sa 3ds Max on how to set up your GPU, well, that's on you. Sabi ko sa inyo, mag-take notes kayo nun. So, next time ko na uulitin yan. Sa face-to-face ko na uulitin yan. Make sure to change to your GPU para mas mabilis yung render nyo. Kung may GPU kayo. Pero pag wala kayong GPU, well, unfortunately, stick kayo sa CPU. Which is going to take a lot more patience from you, no? So yan, 75% done. Almost na tayo. And then, ready na tayo dito sa Blender. Ready na tayo. Okay. So, I'm just going to start up a new file. Actually, no. Save ko muna tong file na to. Bibigay ko na tong file sa inyo, no? So, itong mga files natin dito, I'm going to save it dito. Blender demo. Blender demo anim. And then, I'll save din yung sa 3ds Max. Para test nyo na lang, no? Paglaruan nyo na lang. Tingnan nyo kung paano ko ginawa yon. And then, ulitin nyo kung gusto nyo. Tagal. Okay. One more frame. Now, ito siguro, pumapasok sa isip nyo ngayon. Bakit kailangan natin image sequence, no? Now, kasi hindi natin maiiwasan, guys, na habang nagre-render tayo, we're gonna have the occasional na magbabrowse-browse tayo ng Facebook, sa internet, no? Wala tayong patience na let our computer do the rendering muna, no? So, sometimes kapag ganun na nangyayari, may occasional na magka-crash yung computer natin or magka-crash yung software natin, no? Now, kapag image sequence kasi yung ginawa natin, yun nga, image lang yung nire-render niya. So, kunwari, nag-crash, let's say nag-crash yung computer nyo and na-save lang is hanggang frame 44, no? Now, mabuti, nakapag-save naman kayo, no? Nakapag-save naman kayo before kayo nag-render ng animation nyo. So, once you open up back your software, you can open up your file again, and then you can continue where you left off. Since nag-leave off ka sa 44, natapos mo naman yung hanggang 44, pwedeng diretso mo na siya dito sa range natin, frame 45 hanggang dun sa pinakadulo, no? So dito sa 3ds Max, change lang natin yung range from let's say to 45 to 60. Now sa Blender, ganun din, no? Sa frame range lang natin, dito sa pag-save natin dito, sa frame range natin, isa-set lang natin siya kung saan tayo huling nag-left off, which is in this case, sa example kanina, frame 45, sa-set ko lang siya to 45 and then hanggang 60 sa end. Ganun lang siya kadali. No? Yun ang benefits kung bakit image sequence ang pinare-recommend ko. Okay, now naka-save na tayo. Let us go to Blender. No? So there we go. Ito na yung image sequence natin. No? So punta tayo sa Blender. Gawa tayo ng bagong file. No? I'm going to save this pala. Save ko lang to. And then gawa ko ng bagong file. General ulit. And then papalitan ko tong editor type ko. Change ko to from editor type to video sequencer. Now, this is what you should take note of, no? Now, dito sa 3ds Max ko, wala naman akong binago masyado, no? Ang kailangan niyo lang tandaan dito para maging para ma-maintain niyo yung FPS niyo is of course take note of your FPS count, no? Since ang ginamit ko dito is 30 FPS and yung total frame start natin is frame 0 until frame 60, i-repeat lang natin siya dito sa Blender, no? So dito sa Blender, set muna natin yung frame rate natin. Set natin yung frame rate natin to 30 FPS. And then of course, change natin yung resolution ng image sequence natin, which is 1080 by 1080 kanina, no? So, once that's done, set natin yung frame start natin. We started at frame 0 and we ended at frame 60. So, yan. Nakaset na yan. Now, ang gagawin na lang natin dito is we're going to add. No, mag-add tayo ng dito pala tayo sa add tayo ng image sequence. So, dito sa video sequencer natin, we're gonna be adding an image sequence. Image/sequence. Click natin yan. And then, hanapin lang natin yung image sequence na gagamitin natin. Where is it? Where is it? New folder, 3ds Max. Select natin to lahat. No? Select natin lahat yan. There we go. And then, change natin yung start frame to 0 kasi doon tayo nag-start kanina. And then, end frame natin is at 60. Okay? Now, ito naman, itong fit method natin, change natin siya from scale to fit to use original size para, yun nga, gamitin niya yun, 1080 by 1080 natin. And then, add image strip natin. Okay na yan. So, there we go. There is our image strip. And then, it uses yung 0 to 60 natin. We're basically done, no? We're basically done. Now, ang gagawin lang natin is set na lang natin yung image natin, yung output folder natin, let's say to, dito sa 3ds Max rin natin, accept natin siya dyan. And then, change natin siya from file format to FFmpeg video. Same lang rin naman, no? And then encoding, gawin natin to MP4. And we're basically good to go. Now, ito, mas mabilis na tong i-render, no? So, gagawin natin render animation. Mabilis na siyang i-render kasi we already have an image sequence available, no? So, basically, kino-compile na lang niya yan. And then yan, tapos na. No? Tapos na yung MP4 video natin. Let's just open it up. Ito na siya. That's how easy it is, no? Ganun lang. Na natin yan. Na-convert na natin yung image sequence natin into a MP4 video from 3ds Max to Blender. Just in case na wala kayong Premiere or After Effects. No? So yan. There we go. Tapos na tayo. That is the end of our discussion. That's how you save your animations and how you can convert image sequences into a MP4 video using Blender kapag wala kayong video editor software. So there we go. Any questions? Any questions, guys? Any questions? Any questions? Guys, any questions? Clear na ba tayo? Okay. So, wala na. None na, no? So, there we go. Now, next discussion natin is basic rigging, but like I said, sana na yan. Next meeting na natin yan. Sa face-to-face na yan. So, let's discuss your activity 8 and your activity 9. Okay? So, activity 8, using the knowledge you have learned in keyframe animation, it's literally there. Yan. Basahin nyo na lang, no? It's literally it. Bouncing ball, no? A bouncing ball or bouncing balls. Kayo bahala, no? It's just as simple as that. It is entirely up to you how you plan to create your bouncing ball. It can be hand animated, simulated, or on a track. It's up to you. Render your animation to the resolution of your choice. Note, higher the resolution, the longer the render time, which is pretty obvious naman na at this point, no? And then you're going to be uploading your animation with the title MM3DANI bouncing ball on YouTube and submit a thumbnail render of your animation in Big Sky with this file name. Surname_act8 ball. Now, so yung sasabit nyo sa Dropbox is a thumbnail, no? Ano ba yung thumbnail? Kailangan nyo bang gumawa ng actual thumbnail? No, not really. Mili lang kayo dito, no? Sa image sequence nyo, mili lang kayo dyan, tapos yun ang isubmit nyo. No? Yun na yung thumbnail nyo. So, yun na yung isasabit nyo sa Big Sky. And then, sa comments, ilalagay nyo yung link ng YouTube video nyo, yung MM3DANI bouncing ball nyo. Okay? I forgot to mention here, no? This should last 5 seconds. Tag dito. With an FPS count of 24 or 30 and a minimum of 5 seconds. Yan. So yan. And a minimum of 5 seconds. So minimum 5 seconds, bouncing ball or bouncing balls animation. Now, ito na yung pinaka-example. Now, this one is not exactly bouncing, but it's jumping, no? So, there we go. But it still counts, no? Still counts pa rin yan. Kung gusto nyo patalunin, sure, why not? Basta nagbabounce siya. So, yan. There we go. And then, you can also search up yung ano natin, no? YouTube. Search up nyo lang, MM3DANI bouncing ball, no? Yan yung mga pinapaano ko. Yan yung mga pinagawa ko noon, no? So, there we go. Ito, isang creative take. Bouncing ball. Instead na ball, donut ginawa niya. Pwede rin yan, no? As long as it's bouncing, pwede yan. Meron pa, isa. Ito. I-redescend. There we go. In-apply lang rin niya yung yung bounce the dynamic effect. And please, guys, don't be like this one, no? Don't be like this one. Ganun lang, no? There's not much effort, no? Wag naman ganun, no? Kahit sabihin yung bouncing ball lang yung instructions, wag naman ganun na sobrang kasimple. No? Ayan, pwede ba? Ito. Yan din. Ito. Pwede pa. Si Kirby. Ayan, nagbabounce si Kirby. Ito rin, bouncing ball din. Ano? Diba? Pa. Search up nyo lang yan. Search up nyo lang MM3DANI bouncing ball. Okay? And again, minimum of 5 seconds. Okay? So there we go. That is your activity 8. Now, meron pang isa. Activity 9. No? Now this one is a little bit harder. Now, activity 8, madali lang yan. Literally, kayang-kaya nyo nang gawin ngayon yan. No? Activity 9, so keyframe animation lang ulit tayo, but this time, it's going to be looping animation. No? Yung FPS count nyo, same as activity 8, should be 24 or 30. No? So, FPS count 24 or 30. Now, yung looping animation nyo, it's entirely up to you to what type of looping animation you want to make. You can make it unique or simple. It is up to you. I'll be grading how well you created your animation based on the concept. As for the camera, stationary. No? Walang camera movements. No camera movements. Dapat stationary lang yung camera nyo. Ito na again. Example ulit. No? Ito. This one, yung mga ganito lang yan. No? Ito lang yan. Yung mga perfect example ng mga looping animations. Now, it can be satisfying like this one. No? Ito naman. Sample din naman ng ito. Yung next naman, is sample naman ng mga students ko rin nun. Now, ito ang ayaw ko dito sa mga looping animations, guys, ha? Ito ang ayaw ko. Ito pala. Not this one. Ito ang mga ayaw ko sa magiging submissions nyo. So, typing ko lang. Ako lang rin nagbibigay ng activity na to, no? M3DANI looping animation, ayaw ko makita ng ganito ang submission nyo. Saan ba yun? Where is it? Ito. It's this one, no? Now, currently, yes, ang ganda tingnan, ano? Ang ganda tingnan. But my problem here is, if I type in satisfying looping animation, hanapin ko yan. Makikita ko yan eh. Saan ba yun? Nakita ko na yan noon. So nakita ko na yan dati. So I think basically you get what ito. Ito lang rin yan eh. Notice here, no? Ganyan yung animation niya. See the animation here, no? There's literally no difference, no? There's zero difference. See here, no? Zero difference. Environment, pareho. Animation, pareho. Wag naman ganun, guys, no? Multimedia arts student kayo, sure, okay lang naman ako gumamit kayo ng tutorial. Pero at least, make what you created from that tutorial your own. Wag naman fully ganito na gayang-gaya, no? Gayang-gaya, pinalitan lang yung kulay. Environment, hindi man binago. Yung animation, hindi man binago. Wala man any sort of unique touch, no? So I don't want to see something like this, no? I don't want to see something like this, no? Pwede naman kayo mag-view ng tutorial, pwede niyo gayahin, but like I said, make it your own. Make it unique to you, no? Wag fully gayahin kasi napakadali kong hanapin yan kasi ganyan lang ita-type ko sa YouTube, madami na akong makikita, no? Satisfying looping anime. Lahat ng mga nakita kong ganyan, Blender galing, no? So, alam ko, madali ko mahahanap yan. Don't rely too much on tutorials, make it your own. Pwede kayo mag-tutorials, just make it your own, no? So yan, checklist for the animation. Again, 24 or 30 FPS, no camera movements. Of course, as the activity name suggests, animation must loop, no? Animation must loop. And then, kagaya sa bouncing ball, upload nyo siya to YouTube with the title, MM3DANI looping animation. And then, same goes sa Dropbox, thumbnail render, and lagay yung link sa comments before i-submit. Okay? So, there we go. Yan ang 2 activities nyo for this discussion. Now, the question na lang is, kailan ang deadline? Don't worry, mas mahaba-haba ang konti ang deadline ng Activity 9 by 2 days, no? So, deadline for, content. Yung natin, yung mga activities, nandito siya sa week 9. No? Dito siya, week 9. Ayun, activity 8 and activity 9. So, activity 8 is due next meeting, March 16, 11:59 p.m. And then looping animation due siya March 18, Saturday, 11:59 p.m. next week. Okay? So yan, nandito na lahat yan, no? And the minimum of 5 seconds. Okay, update. There we go. So ito, another inspiration ulit. Ito, sa mga paborito ko rin, sa mga naging estudyante ko rin to. Looping animation. Guys, as you can already hear, yes, pwede na kayo mag-post process starting now, no? Pwede na kayo gumamit ng video editor kung gusto niyo may konting light correction. Sure, go ahead. Pwede na kayo gumamit ng video effects dito, no? Basta makita ko yung animation nyo. I want this to be looping, of course. Pwede nyo na lagyan ng music, sound effects. Kayo na bahala. You're free to do that na, no? Of course, I don't need to state the obvious. Lahat ng models, lahat ng assets na gagawin nyo sa animation, kayo gagawa. Walang magda-download. Okay? It's pretty obvious naman na at this point, no? Okay? Are we clear? Are we clear, guys? Clear na ba tayo? Clear. Okay. Kung clear naman na, I guess I can dismiss you na for today. So, actually, no. Finals briefing, no? Finals briefing. Okay, so let's do that, no? So, let me just stop ko lang yung recording.